Yes, people, welcome to Strasbourg Steve for another video, live stream, whatever the hell you want to call it. Today, Steve and Chlo show, obviously with my esteemed partner company, Chlo. What's going
Hello.
on? How you doing?
Been a while. It's been a
It's
while.
been a minute. Been a minute. You doing good though, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing good. We've got Europa League. Well, not Europa League. Potentially Europa League. So we're good. We're
Yes,
good.
yeah. We'll get into that, obviously. Yes, and also Prime's here as well. Hope you're doing good, bro.
I'm good, man. Listen, it's been a hard fought battle, but I've won. So I'm good.
First, we'll get into that later, but first we'll start off. Obviously, it'll be a season review of Newcastle United and Chelsea, both of their seasons. We'll kick it off with Newcastle going into the season. This was our squad that we had available to us: Dubravka, Trippier, Paul Dummett, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, Jamal Lascelles, Joe Ellington, Sandro Tonali, Callum Wilson, Anthony Gordon, Matt Ritchie, Matt Target, Alexander Isak, Harvey Barnes, Emil Kraft, Loris Karius, Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento, Nick Pope, Jacob Murphy, Miguel Almiron, Joe Willick, Mark Gillespie, Elliot Anderson, Dan Burns, Sean Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, Joe White, and Lewis Miley. So this is going into the season, our squad, and it stayed the same. We did not make any January signings, as none of the Premier League teams really did. But this is our squad going into the season. I'll start off with you, Prime, in terms of what did you going into the season kind of expect from Newcastle when looked at our squad and coming off a fourth place finish where we had the second best defense in the league, Champions League for the first time for Newcastle in at least 20 years. What did you kind of expect with Newcastle going into the year?
Yeah, Steve. You know how we were speaking a lot last season about top four. I knew strongly believe Newcastle would make top four last season. And
Yeah,
remember, I kept saying to you and to not even to you, but I kept saying to rival fans that we shouldn't have the expectation of Newcastle to make top four yet. It's a year too early, and we shouldn't set them up, for failure.
You didn't think we'd go back to back top four?
No, not even that. I just thought it'd be a year too early. I thought this year would be the year you'd make that eventual step into top four. Okay. But you made it last year. Credit to you guys. You really deserved it.
Cup final.
You were in the Champions League. I didn't expect you guys to make it out of your group.
Yeah. You
didn't. But all in all, I think you guys have had a good season. I mean, considering, injury-riddled squad, your first choice goalkeeper being out, your star midfielder being suspended by betting, and the fact that you finished 7th, I'd say that's still I'd say it's a good season, particularly the fact that I don't rate Newcastle's depth. I've been saying your squad depth I don't think necessarily is the best. Like you were saying last stream, Longstaff is on your bench. That's not good enough. But finishing 7th, that's a good season. For me, that's a good season for Newcastle. Whether that's enough for Eddie Howe to keep his job, like we can get onto that later. But I think it's a good season for Newcastle. Where did I have you guys? I can't remember my predictions, but I had you around there, around the fifth, around the 6th, 7th position, competing for top four, which you guys did. All in all, I'd say it's a good season. It's a respectable season, I'd say. It's a respectable season.
What were the strengths and weaknesses that you kind of thought that led to your expectations at Newcastle, or your the players and
stuff? Lack of squad depth.
Okay,
trying to compete on both fronts. Lack of squad depth. I didn't expect this many injuries, obviously, but having these many injuries and not having the adequate backup. At least with Chelsea, we finished above you by 3 points. But at least with Chelsea, no Reece James. We've got Malo Gusto, for example. We've got
our backup right back is Livramento, who's good, but he's not established yet.
Yeah. So even though, for example, you guys have 2 quality center backs in Schär and Botman, but Botman's out injured and your defense drops massively. Trippier he has massively declined.
Regressed. Yeah.
Livramento started off the season not playing games when he probably should have been your starting fullback. You guys
Over
don't have
Cam
a
Hurd.
left back. Yeah, you guys don't have a left back. You brought in
Well,
Lewis Hall, on loan,
Lewis
but
Hall.
you didn't use. Yeah, but you didn't use him, so you don't have a left
Yeah.
back. Your forward line, Isaac is amazing, but he's injury prone. Callum Wilson, injury prone.
Even
Gordon's
more.
had a brilliant season. But I just look at your team and I think 1 or 2 injuries, and you've had more than 1 or 2 injuries, and all of a sudden this brilliant team starts to crumble on the personnel front. And I think Newcastle needs to address that this summer. You need.
Do you think
if you
in the
get
summer
adequate
we
depth-
made? Yeah.
What?
Do you think in the summer we made the right signings? Because we signed Barnes from Leicester for 45, Tonali from AC Milan, who we both rate really, really highly. Had the betting thing, obviously, but that was a good signing when we made it. And then Lewis Hall we bought from you guys and Tino. Do you think we did enough?
Yeah. Again, it's only unfortunate. If you guys didn't have injuries, I think you guys could have finished top 4 again.
I'm not even going to talk. I'm not going to talk.
Because you're they have a structure. Maybe it's me. Maybe people can say I overrate Eddie Howe. I really rate Eddie Howe, and I think you guys could have replicated top 4 if not for the injuries, because you didn't finish that far off it. You finished on. I'm trying to get the table up again for myself. You finished on 60 points, and 4th was Villa on 68.
Yeah.
Like Villa dropped off for about a month or so. If you guys had players fit, you easily could have made 4th. So, but yeah, I think again it's a respectable season. Next season, though, if I'm a Newcastle fan, I think no matter what, you need to start. Something needs to change. You need to start winning something and showing a bit of a mentality shift, because you don't want to get to a point where you build your squad like Arsenal, where you look great, but ultimately you have nothing to show for it. You need to start shifting, and you need to start building a squad now, not just about signing like to improve per se an 11. But you really need a proper squad. I like Newcastle's project and where you guys are trying to go, but like you need a proper squad, man. You really need a squad. How you guys didn't go for Kudus?
Right, for the right wing, because that was the one thing that we needed. That was the one complaint I had, there was a complaint here or there about the summer window overall. We needed to sign a right wing because our right wingers are Almiron and Jacob Murphy. I'm fine with, but Almiron needs to be sold on because he's a purple patch guy.
Yeah,
Really
and also, why did you guys loan in Lewis Hall just to not use him?
And that's something that we'll get to when we're evaluating Eddie Howe. That decision for me, I'm not sure. I was talking with my buddy Dom. He's on NFC Talk TV. Make sure to go subscribe to them. He thought it was because of that Lewis Hall needed to build some muscle mass, because he's not like a physically. He's a really tidy footballer. I like him. And I've been impressed with him in this stint that he's had. This night, it's not a huge sample size, but it's a good enough one where it's like, I like what I see from you at left back, but like physicality is not his strength. And I think he needed to bulk up a bit more during the season. I think that was the theory he proposed.
Yeah.
That's probably the reason. That's probably the best reason I can think of.
I noticed Chloe's facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to speak, Chloe?
Yeah, go ahead, Chloe. What are your thoughts on like Newcastle in terms of like players and stuff? Who do you like, or what's
I'm going to keep it short and simple, just because I'm someone who struggles to watch football unless it's a team that I'm loyal to playing. But I did predict you to finish 6th this season, but that's mainly because I did think you would struggle with having Champions League football as well. However, it's not like it took up most of your season. Like, I did think you would get further than the group stage. So that's why part of the reason why I put you 6th, I thought, at least, you'd be going into February, March, having an extra game a week, thinking about the Champions League. And obviously you struggle with injuries as well, which is why I was pulling the facial expressions, because for some reason, Prime is allowing Newcastle to have injuries as an excuse for Eddie Howe not performing as well.
Chloe, what's the context I gave, Chloe?
We're not going to talk about it now. I'm just saying that's why I was pulling the facial expressions I was.
So, Chloe, I'll address that really quick. In terms of depth, you guys have a deeper squad. So, like Prime said, for example, Botman is a very good center back. Cher, pretty good. The problem is, Chloe, our backup center backs are Dan Burn. Your backup center backs are Benoit Badiashile or Chalobah,
who did perform very well.
Higher caliber than Dan Burn, for example. So that's why it's a drop off from first 11 to the bench. Yours is closer, right? Reece James, Reece James and Gusto, you have very good depth at right back. Newcastle, we have Trippier and Livramento. Trippier's not as good as Reece James, and Livramento is probably on par with Gusto. Right? And at one point, we had Trippier and Livramento out, and we had to play our third choice right back, which is Kraft. What's good, Prime? And so that's the reason why I think Prime is kind of saying like, oh, the injuries were a bit of a problem. That's why.
I understand that, because obviously when we had left backs on our bench, Poch still insisted playing
Watson, Cucurella.
So
and that's what I
mean. Definitely questionable. But in terms of Newcastle, I personally think you finished where I predicted you. Like, I do think 6th, 7th was perfect. The squad you had, you don't have a good squad depth, but you do have a good manager, and I think you like Prime said, you definitely do need to win something. But I think I remember saying that last season. I feel like if you had won the Carabao Cup last season, that definitely would have. I know it's only the Carabao Cup, but it still would have been something to prove that you can win something, and you aren't just another Spurs. That's kind of how I'd be looking at you in a few years' time if you hadn't have won a trophy or even an Arsenal.
I think you could have won one this season, because the Carabao Cup game against Chelsea. You guys, if Mudryk doesn't score, you beat us. You get to that final. I believe you beat Liverpool.
We could have, but
it depends if it had been away or at home for Newcastle.
No, but it's fine. But even still, back-to-back finals.
Oh yeah, you played Middlesbrough. So we would have had Middlesbrough if we got that.
Yeah, in the semis, and then Liverpool in the final. Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, it's fine margins. If Trippier doesn't have that stupid pack pass, you make that final. You could win, you could lose, but that's back-to-back finals, and you're starting to really build something.
But you look at Chelsea, and we had 2. I don't know. I just think you can't use that as an excuse for one club and not another. You got to win it or not.
I can't use what as an excuse.
For me, being in back-to-back finals wouldn't be enough for Chelsea. You need to win. You need to win something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. But Newcastle are not Chelsea yet. But
we're building to become.
I do feel like if Newcastle want to become, you already obviously are an established team, but to become like one of them teams, you need to win something.
You have to be winning,
But so that's kind of that part of it. And then, so going into the season, we'll look at a few key games I will point out. Start off the season, first game of the Premier League season, absolutely. This was for me one of the best performances of the season from us. I don't even think Villa played terribly because they actually we scored 6 minutes in. Tonali, ironically, is a great back post goal. Crashed the box, finished off brilliantly. Diaby scored then 5 minutes later, and then 5 minutes later we scored, and we took control of the game for parts of it and would hit on the counter again and again. 58th minute, Isak scored again. Wilson came off the bench and scored, and Barnes also came off the bench and scored. And I remember this vividly because people were going crazy. Newcastle fans, people were like, could they put in a title bid? Because this was supposed to be a much more competitive game. But I remember this very, very vividly. Prime, what did you do you remember watching this game?
Yeah, I remember this game. People were looking at Newcastle and Villa as the two teams fighting for top 4, potentially being dark
trophies like an FA Cup.
And that result made people say Villa are just a flash in the pan, and Emery might get, particularly Arsenal fans saying Emery might get sacked. And people were saying with Newcastle that they have enough that they could push and easily get top 4, maybe be dark horses for the league. And hey, if you had a fully fit squad, who knows? Maybe you could have with Eddie Howe. But
that was our 11. Pope, Trippier. Trippier's very good that day. Cher, Botman, Burn at left back, Tonali, Guimaraes, Joelinton, which is for me the 3 first choice midfielders for next year easily if we keep Eddie Howe easily. Then Almiron on the right, Isak and Gordon. So, and then our bench.
I look at that team. Look at that team in Newcastle, and I think. Scroll back up. Yeah, I look at that team, and I think
bench.
If you improve at fullback, both fullbacks improve, you get a right winger. And all of a sudden, that team, I mean, Tino can play right back, but you know what I mean? Improve at fullbacks, get a right winger, and all of a sudden, that team is looking real stable. It's looking like he can really do something.
I mean, I predicted Villa to finish 4th, not really because I thought they'd actually finish 4th, but more for the joke than anything, just for them to actually finish 4th. So for me, that game I thought it'd be a lot more closer than it actually was. Yeah. But then I don't think Villa's away form's been the best this season.
Yeah, it's not been good. Our away form, and we'll get on to that. That's one of the big cons of the season, the away form this year. But yeah, so the Villa game was crazy, and then Man City 1-0, didn't really lay a glove on them. This Liverpool, again, another notable game. This one pissed me off. This one was infuriating. I don't remember. I don't know if you guys watched this game, but that first half in particular, Anthony Gordon was absolutely he was retiring Trent in front of our very eyes. He scored 25th minute. We were brilliant this game up to a point though. We had chances in the game that we didn't necessarily take. And then this was one of the things that Eddie Howe would go on to do in this game that really pissed me off. It was the Tonali sub for Longstaff. It was around the timeline. Where is it? Commentary. We subbed off. What's his fucking face? We subbed off Tonali.
Yeah, Steve was raging that day.
Yes, I was
fucking.
Yeah. It was furious, bro. I was furious. And then the game, so he subbed him off in the 72nd minute. And then they brings on Nunez in the 77th minute. And then bang, goal 4 minutes later. And then bang again. And it was the same fucking thing. The right-hand side of the defense, our right-hand side, our left, their right, Burn got skinned. And from then on, I was like, Burn cannot play left back anymore. He needs to play center back. So for me, that was one of the things that this game was a defining moment where it was like, bro, that we cannot do Burn at left back. But yeah, this game fucked with me on a different level, bro. Because we were so good up until like the 70th minute, so good. But yeah, that was a kick in the balls.
Do you look at that game? Is that game a tactical issue, or do you think it's lack of depth?
It was the wrong substitute, because if you look at the bench, we brought on Longstaff first before Almiron, who he was having a decent game, but we didn't need to change up. And then also bringing off Joelinton, and again, Livramento on the bench. This is another problem that I had with Eddie Howe the whole season. I wanted Livramento to be given a chance at left back because he can play there, and he eventually did.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yes, bro. And this is the thing. These are some of the complaints I got about Eddie Howe sometimes. That he's loyal to the wrong players, and that he gives, these pressure spots, bringing on Longstaff. Like, it's just.
Chloe, does that remind you of anyone?
We'll get to that later. It was.
So I'm daydreaming.
But yeah, what it is. This Liverpool game was like a microcosm of kind of our season. Start out some really, really good things, but then some self-inflicted mistakes kind of cost us against top opposition. And then this Brighton one was another 5:30. It was another 5:30 UK time. They just smoked us. They completely smoked us. We didn't get the memo that you need to sit back and counter versus Brighton because it's a clash of styles. You need to change up your style because our style, what's it called, played into their strengths. So that was an annoying one, where we got bullied. This is when Ferguson got the hat trick, Prime. This is when Ferguson got the hat trick against us. So yeah, we were absolutely dreadful that whole game.
My boy,
Brighton started off the season very well.
What's your 8-0 against Sheffield United? Just Sheffield United being Sheffield United? Or
we took every chance we had, bro. I was gonna go to that one before this one, and this is another notable game for me. Very significant. First game in 20 years in the champs at the San Siro. We didn't play well this game going forward, like at all. Very, very shy. Only 6 shots, 1 on target. Pope stood on his head the first half. He stood on his fucking head. I remember this very, very clearly. Leao had a chance to score as well. Leao had a fucking chance to score. And he dribbled around Pope and then decided to spin and it was like, what is he doing? And I remember, and then from then on, it was like more comfortable. But Milan missed a few guilt chances in this game. But I was overall happy with the point at the time.
Yeah, I think that was a good point. Like, first time back in the Champions League, and you're getting a point against a European giant. Like,
who had a really good team. It's a good team.
I don't get how you guys had the group of death. I don't get how anyone can complain like Newcastle's performance in the Champions League. You performed how you should be performing first time back in forever against AC Milan, who won the title last 2 years ago. To be fair. Yeah, like you performed how you were supposed to perform. I don't know what people expected.
Yeah, but no, this game it was defense versus attack really. What's it called? Oh shit, not YouTube. My bad. What the fuck? But no. So like, yeah, this is what I mean. 25 shots, 9 on target. They had more possession slightly, but it felt like a lot more. They were just doing more with the ball, particularly in the first half. But yeah, this was another kind of important game for me to kind of gauge how the squad and players. And I didn't mind that we got the group of death. I didn't think we'd get out of it, but I was excited. Particularly for the fans that go to the games as well. You're getting 3 terrific away days. So that game was interesting to me. And then a few others. I'll try to speed it up a little bit here. The 8-0 Sheffield United. We were just clinical, man. We were clinical. We actually didn't start off the game that great, but then second half we scored 6, I believe. We just throttled them. So that was interesting. And then we beat Man City in the Carabao Cup third round.
Oh, you battered Sheffield United. If only Chelsea knew what that was like. They got flawless.
They got flaws as well. Yes, Longstaff did have a chance in the Milan game to end it, and of course he didn't take his chance because he doesn't really do that against big teams. But yeah, then we beat Man City in the Cup. That was a big one because I thought, damn, we knocked out the favorite of this tournament. Let's go on to do something. We'll talk about that later. But that was a big result. Beat Burnley 2-0. This was, out of all the games this year, like the most memorable, it's got to be this one. It's got to be this. I thought it was going to be 3-1 PSG. I don't know if you guys watched this game or not, but this was a big one. This was a fucking big one. Big up Bayern View as well, my guy Liam. Hope you're doing good. But yeah, Prime, what did you think of this game overall? Did you watch?
I think this game shocked people.
Yeah.
But it didn't really shock me because people were saying, I remember when the group came out and people were saying Newcastle have to go to Parc des Princes to.
No, this is at our place.
No, I know. People were saying when the groups came out, Newcastle have to go to the Parc des Princes. They have to go to the Western Fly at the Dortmund Stadium, and they have to go to the San Siro, the big like atmospheres in Europe.
Yeah.
And I remember my counter argument was St. James's Park is also a massive stadium to play in for opposition teams in Europe. Like, so that I think Newcastle is particularly for that game, that played perfectly into Newcastle's hands.
They went 4-2-4 against us. It was crazy.
Yeah, PSG were so open, and
Naive.
it just fell perfectly into Newcastle's hands. And that was a game showing Newcastle that you guys can get to this level and compete. Because PSG are not like, they're a big team, but like they're not a giant of Europe. You guys can, if you build properly, you guys can be playing on this level. So yeah, that was an entertaining game. I loved watching that game.
Yeah, and it was again a display. It was Atalanta-esque in terms of they don't need possession. They just need to man mark, run, technically on the ball, be sound at least, and just move and counter and make quick decisions and shoot. And like we actually stifled them a lot. They had a chance early in the game. Dembele missed wide. It was like 2 or 3 minutes in, and then we scored.
Yeah. It's games like that, Steve, that like when people talk about Eddie Howe, it's games like that where I look at and tell people he's doing a brilliant job at Newcastle.
Was this his best display of the season, coaching wise?
Considering the opposition, yeah. To batter PSG like that, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was remarkable. It was remarkable. I love that. I love that game. I absolutely love that game. So that was terrific. And I mean, look at our 11 as well. We didn't have so Tonali. That was a game or two, it was a few games before he got banned. We didn't have Joelinton. Joelinton got injured actually, so our bench was Target, Murphy, Anderson, Dubravka, Dummett, Karius, Lewis Hall,
Miley. That was the game where everyone was praising Longstaff for dominating the Champions League. And
he actually was good this game. He was. And I'm not saying he sometimes does that. He'll sometimes just have like a wonderful game. It's a consistency thing with Longstaff. But yeah, this game was it was, and again, look who isn't at center back. Botman as well. We had our first choice front three essentially. Back the midfield there, but yeah, it was remarkable. We're coming up against a Paris Saint-Germain team. They look, simply put, Luis Enrique didn't do his homework, and Eddie Howe did, and we executed.
Wow. That was so naive. 4-2-4, so naive. Against a Premier League midfield. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. So that was a big one. That was a big one. In terms of Newcastle for our season. And then after that, let me scroll back up here. So we had that. Then we went away to West Ham. When West Ham actually started off the season pretty well, got a draw. They hadn't lost at home up until, I think they went, they beat everyone they played at home, including Europe, and we got a draw there. So I was like, fair enough. Beat Palace 4-0 when they had.
Before you continue, Steve, I've saved some stuff, so I want to. Wait, what's this? Sorry. I've starred some questions that I want to.
Yes.
Where do I? Hold on. Yeah. I've started some questions I want to ask you.
I'm going to dip people. I literally could barely keep my eyes. I'm so tired.
No worries. Thanks for joining. You did the show earlier, anyways. Take care, Chlo.
So have a good debate. Good debate, Prime.
Take care, Chloe. Rest up.
Gallagher in.
Hey, Gallagher can say, man, I won my battle. Anyways, during the Q&A, I remember Steve saying how he rated Newcastle's first 4 games a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, and that the 2 points were because our first 4 were the Villa battering. That was the 2 points, and then I expect us to lose to Man City, so I didn't. The Brighton and Liverpool ones were just like fuck my life, fuck my literal life. So yeah, Warrior, you got a crazy memory. I can't lie. I don't even know. But
yeah, he does have a crazy memory. Ten Hag's position at Man United appears increasingly untenable. United have sounded out Kieran McKenna, Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino, and Thomas Frank this week at the Telegraph.
If they're gonna hire a manager out of those 4, it would be in this order: Frank, McKenna. Pick your poison with the other 2. They're both
honestly. I think
Tuchel third, Poch 4th.
Bro, Poch is a sweet talker, man. I think.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Damn
If
right.
they, I hope they go for
Say it again. Say it again, Prime.
Poch is a sweet talker.
He is.
Bro, Poch will sell you dreams, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Poch is Poch is a Gallus, man. He'll sell you dreams. Yes. I don't know what I said.
And then this was another game I wanted to talk about briefly. This is the 1-0 Dortmund. We started off the game really well, had some chances. Kobel on the day was extraordinary, absolutely exceptional. Nemekia scored just before halftime. But yeah, this is our lineup for that game. Again, Botman was out during that time. So we had Trippier, Lascelles, Pope was still in goal. Burn at left back again was exposed completely by Daniel Malin and his pace. Bruno was okay in the game. Joelinton looked not at his best. Longstaff was really not that good outside of the first 20. Almiron, Isak was invisible, to be honest, and that's one thing that I think Eddie should get some criticism, and Isak, because sometimes he does go a bit missing. And Gordon was all right. But yeah, this Dortmund team, it went on to be over time. He was getting criticism. Yes, he was. And you know why? Because they weren't doing well in the Bundesliga at that time either. But in the groups, they were very, very good. And they've been absolutely outstanding in the Champions League the whole campaign. So, but this game, I thought we would nick it like a 2-1 or something. But Dortmund showed the experience, Prime, what you were talking about in Champions League really matters, especially in this situation. Kind of showed.
Yeah, but like at this point, right? This is 3 games in the Champions League. What are you thinking at this point?
Well, we got a draw at the San Siro, which is more than I thought we would have. I thought we'd lose like 2-0 or something. And then I thought we'd lose to PSG. So we were on, I expected 0 and we got 4. So I was, and Dortmund drew with AC Milan and PSG beat Dortmund. So we were second. No, because AC Milan were on 2 points. So we were actually top of the group even at the end of match day 3. And Dortmund were on 4. So I forget if we were first, but it was Dortmund, us, PSG, and Milan were at the bottom of the table after this game. So the loss was like, yeah, it sucks. I thought we could win it, just nick it, but overall, this was kind of the 2 games against Dortmund killed us really. And we didn't deserve to go through because of those 2 Dortmund games in particular. But yeah, so we'll move on from that. We got a draw versus Wolves, which I expected a draw there. Kind of got our record at Molineux, not good at all. And then this game was interesting, man. This game was fucking interesting. I think this game, from the Man United perspective, a lot of people turned on Ten Hag after this. And you'll see why. Look at this lineup. A few seconds. Onana, Dalot, Maguire, Lindelof, Reguilon, Casemiro, Mason, Minerals, Manchester Mount, Antony, Mabry, Garnacho, and Martial. I forgot he even played this season. That's hilarious. So it's a decent lineup. It's not their first choice, but like that's decent. Look at our lineup, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking at the highlight. Like, yeah, you guys were playing fullbacks at center back, and you battered Man United.
Yeah.
Was this and like? I wonder. I want to
no
look at
Bruno,
Man United.
No Bruno G.
When did this happen for Man United? What was their run of fixtures?
November 1st.
Yeah, I know, but what was their run of fixtures for Man United leading into this?
Real quick. So November time, it was. They had just lost to Man City, scraped by Copenhagen, scraped by Sheffield United, and Scott McTominay saved their ass with a 2-minute brace in the 90th.
So yeah, so scroll down, lose to City, lose to
barely beat Fulham,
Newcastle, beat Fulham, Copenhagen. Oh, so that was that bad. Yeah, I remember. Well, all United season has been bad, but yeah, I remember that run.
Scraped by Luton Town. Garnacho did the bicycle kick. Then they drew a Gala. Then we beat them 1-0, which we'll get on to. But yeah, this game was.
I think I tuned in. I think I tuned in the second half. I'm not sure. I don't know what the score was at that point, but I think I tuned in in the second half. I saw
We
this
were
the
up
Willock.
2-0. We were up 2-0
I
at
saw
half.
the Willock goal. Willock had all the space in the world. I was like, what the hell is
Yeah. Yeah, bro, Warrior, I did a watch along with Flawless for this, and I was like, we'll lose 3-0. And it was the opposite. This was, again, Eddie Howe coaching. This was at its peak brilliance. It was remarkable. Bro, we had 10 shots, 5 on target with 38% possession. We let them have all the ball. 335 passes to 532.
Matt Target got injured in this game, didn't he?
Yeah, early in the game, and Amaron
yeah.
had to come on. And Richie was playing at fucking right wing. So he had to move Richie to midfield. It was madness. Livramento or Hall scored that brilliant goal as well. Lewis Hall scored a brilliant goal. And he did later in the season. But yeah,
I'm watching the game back, right? I'm watching the highlights. And from the first minute, you guys are on Man United in a full press. Like United's like scroll up to who started that game. And for United, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, they left what's his name? Membry. They left that guy out to drown.
Yes.
Like, they left that kid out to drown. That's not fair on him. And Mason Mount stunk as well. Like Mason
Mount was shit. He was ball watching for the Hall goal. He was ball watching like a motherfucker. It was crazy, bro. But yeah, so that was a very notable result. That was unbelievable. And that was off the back of the Carabao Cup. So I was like, we knocked out Man City, knocked out Man United. So there's two teams that could potentially win the thing. Obviously, Man United.
Oh wait, you knocked out City and United.
Yes.
And then we knocked you out.
Yes.
Oh wow. You guys really could have won it.
This is what I'm saying. And during this time, I'm like, fuck, we're getting draws on the road against teams that we don't really have a good record on. Lost to Dortmund, but we didn't get battered. We just got outclassed to an extent. Smacked up Palace. Got a draw at a ground that like they were in good form. So I was like, cool. Smashed up we smashed up Paris. Beat Burnley pretty comfortably. Beat Man City. 8-0, 0-0. So I was at this point in the season, I was like, oh my God. And we had some injuries as well. Like I said, Botman wasn't playing. Tonali had the ban at that point. So I was like, fucking hell.
Also, that was Livermento's first start, I think, right?
Start, yes.
I remember he was brilliant that game. I just watched the first goal, and he's just driving through the midfield.
Yeah. It was brilliant individual effort from Livramento. It was very, very good. I like Livramento. We'll talk about him later because that's one of my things about Eddie that he's got to work on. And then the very next game, Prime, 3 days later, we beat Arsenal. This game was fucking hilarious. This was the Anthony Gordon VAR call that Arsenal fans still cry about to this day. And I'm going to be fucking real. That cost them the league.
Yeah, that's a lot of games that cost them the league, to be fair.
But we were part of it, so fair play to us. Yeah, Livramento made Mount look like an 8-year-old for the Miguel Almiron goal. 100%. 100%. But yeah, this game was a notable one because Arsenal offered nothing in the game. Nothing. They had 14 shots, 1 on target. Yeah, it's when he said, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. But Prime, do you remember watching this game?
Yeah, sorry. Let me switch to.
No, you're good. You're good. Make sure you hit the likes, people, and subscribe.
Yeah, I just want to see the highlights for the game.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, we had a, and you know what it was? It wasn't even the best game to watch. We performed slightly better than them, and again, our lineup, Burn honestly was comfortable versus Saka.
Was at that point the cell was was going on a purple patch, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in good form. That's because Botman was out, no Tonali, so we had to do Longstaff, Guimaraes, Joelinton, Almiron, Wilson, Gordon. Isak was out as well, by the way. For this game.
And who played up top for Arsenal? It was Nketiah, yeah, of course. It was Nketiah, yeah. That was back when he was still doing Havertz midfield experiment.
Yeah, and it was fucking failing. But yeah, this game was a notable one for sure. But yeah, we were pretty good on the day. We were pretty good. Arsenal just offered nothing in the game. Absolutely nothing. So start to our season, Prime, when we look back on it, we actually started off the season about as good as you could realistically get. At that point, we only lost one game, 2, 3 games in all comps out of 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, 16. And there were 2 draws. So, like, we started off our first quarter of the season brilliantly.
And at that point in the season, what are you thinking?
I was thinking, damn, we could do something like finish 4th again. I was like,
Are you thinking of a cup run? Carabao Cup again?
That as well for the Carabao, obviously, yes. Obviously. Yeah. So it was going good. And then the drop-off happened in the season for me, Dortmund game.
Was this when injuries happened?
This was when it got really crazy. Yeah, this Dortmund game, they were just better than us, full stop.
No. When did the injuries happen for Newcastle, though?
It was around this period where it got bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, again, we had so Gordon was, he had to come off the bench. We had Lewis Hall left back at that game, who was actually kind of decent. He was all right. Trippier played, Lascelles, Share. So we had, at that point, injuries. This was our bench. Gordon, Almiron, Miley. That was his first appearance for Newcastle, by the way. And we'll talk about Miley later, because that was one of the positives of the season that I will give Eddie Howe 100%, his introduction and handling of Lewis Miley. Dubravka, Dummett, Karius, Lucas Del Bol, and Parkinson. So our bench was poor. And look at Dortmund's bench, man. Royce, Mukoko, Bensebaini, Reina, Sebastian Aller, Daniel Malin, Marius Wolf, Jamie Bino Gittins, who's, I think, a potential star in the making. I really like him. Very intrigued to see.
Let me back to that. Sorry, the Arsenal game, right? Do you think Howard should have been sent off?
If I had to call it, yes. But was I screaming and crying about it? Not really, no. Because it was a very physical game, Prime. It was an extremely physical game. Like, Joelinton should have probably been sent off. And Bruno as well. Bruno made a bad tackle as well. So I just thought, like, if you're not going to send off the guy, and then we should have had sending, I mean, it equals out, really.
Because it was very late. It was very late.
Yeah, it is. So, but yeah. Yeah, the injuries kind of were around the Man City period, but this is when it got real bad. And then Bournemouth smoked us 2-0 when they were on a winless run. They thoroughly deserved the 3 points. Again, we should have hit on the break, but we tried to dominate and try to control proceedings. Solanke was unbelievable that day. Very, very good. This was again for me why I rate Areola, because like these players, I like some of them. They're decent, but like Christie and Lewis Cook are not world beaters. Semenyo's a really good player. Kluivert had a decent season. Tavernier is okay. Solanke, I think, is improving each season as a footballer and a striker. They had Max Aarons at right back, and they smoked us emphatically. And then our lineup was Joelinton left wing, Gordon up front, because at that point, Wilson also got injured, and Isak. Almiron, Willock, Miley, this was his first start for Newcastle.
So no Barnes.
Barnes was injured since I want to say Barnes was injured from, I'm going to look on SofaScore right now. Barnes was injured from September until January. So yeah. But yeah, our team was not at the best. Lewis Hall again got the pick at left back because Dan Burn at that point was injured as well. But yeah, we still had Pope around. Like we shouldn't have gotten outplayed that badly, but it was a deserved win for Bournemouth 100%. I don't think our strategy was the best going into that Bournemouth game. And that was 4 days after we lost to Dortmund. And then we had an international break for 2 weeks. And then this game we could talk about. This was interesting, wasn't it? This was when I realized, Prime, that that Poch is not the guy. This was when I was fully like, he sucks. He is not good. Because we throttled you guys. Absolutely throttled you guys this game. What do you remember about it?
I don't know. I try not to think about it actually. I don't know. Let me watch back actually the highlights. I try and blank out majority of the games.
This was the game that Miley made his name. That's what I'll say. I also remember this was the game that Miley was like showing me. That was his first standout game at Newcastle. I was like, bro, he put in. He was the best player on the pitch, and Guimaraes is on there. Y'all had Enzo, Ugachukwu, Palmer, Gallagher, Sterling, Jackson, Cucurella, Betty Shields, Silva. Reece James got sent off, and Sanchez was still in goal for you guys. Yeah, the free kick was a few minutes after Isak scored, but we took control second half. Yeah, that was the Thiago Silva mistake for Wilson,
And there's when Reece James got sent off as well.
Yes. But yeah,
this was our bench.
This was our bench. This is where the injuries got even worse. Dummett, Richie, Amadou Diallo, youth player, Alex Murphy, youth player, Michael Indeweni, Dubravka, Karius, Gillespie, Parkinson. Your bench, Mudryk, Madueke, Armando Broya, Moises Caicedo, Levi Colwell, Disasi, Petrovic, Madsen, Matos. I thought going into the game, Prime, I thought we would draw. That's what I thought going into it. But what about you?
Where is it?
It's coming off of. So, by the way, for context, if you don't remember, is the international break where the last game before the international break, you drew at Man City 4-4. This was one of your purple patches, and then the international break came, and then
I remember during that point in the season where we would go well. Our last couple of games going into international break, we'd end well, and then the international break would kill the momentum. And then players would get injured or whatever, and we'd have to start again. Just go to the Chelsea lineup real quick.
That was your 11. Silva was like game.
Yeah, that was a poor game. Like we started off.
Started off all right. You should have scored, I think, 10 minutes. But then we scored immediately after you had a chance, I think.
You guys, I remember the Isak goal. That was a brilliant ball from Miley.
Yes, the through ball. That was
we just fell asleep. Buddy is still playing him on side. Well, and Cucurella playing Isak on side. Great goal from Isak. And then Newcastle just we picked the ball off of I'm watching it here.
Silva gave it to Joelinton.
No, our equalizer, the Sterling one.
Oh, the free kick. Yeah, it was a brilliant goal.
Ouch. The Sterling goal. Who's dwelling there on the ball? Is that Isak? I think it's Isak.
Yeah.
It's dwelling there on the ball. Jackson wins it. Enzo plays it forward, and Sterling just there on the break. And he wins that free kick. That's a stupid free kick to give away by Trippier.
It was. Yeah.
Pulling it. You don't expect an experienced player to do that. Because Sterling,
brilliant goal.
Yeah, brilliant ball to give.
And you guys played better than us the first half, I think.
Yeah, no, we did. But again, that was during the season where second half we just.
We'll talk about that when it comes to pros and cons for you guys.
Yeah, we talk about that with Chelsea.
Was a killer. That was a thing. Whenever I go on Lewis's channel or speak with Chelsea fans, second half were poor.
And we go into it at 1-1. You know, you would think 1-1 second half Newcastle. You have a lot of like kids on your bench, and you would think Chelsea in the second half we can really start to show our quality. But but unfortunately, that was not the that's not the case.
And Livramento as well started this game as well, and he had a good game, particularly second half. And again, that was why I was saying Livramento can play both sides. Why are we playing Dan Burn? Dan Burn should be a backup back at best.
Second half, brilliant free corner from like Trippier, and Joe Linton just has a free run. It goes wide, to be fair, but still. Well, not second half.
Corners, you're defending on corners. Oh my God.
Yeah, that happened in the first half, to be fair. But yeah, Chelsea played very well in the first half. We had chances.
Played good.
As did Newcastle, to be fair. That first half ended 2-2 easily.
Should have, probably, yeah. That was definitely a notable game for both teams. I think we'll definitely talk about that more from your side and in the Chelsea segment. And then the next game we played. This is again another look. The robbery thing. It is what it is. I remember going on the terrace prime after this PSG the draw, and I was like, we could talk about that decision all we want. The penalty on Livramento, that's cool. I thought we were unbelievable defensively. Absolutely unbelievable. Particularly Nick Pope was surreal, bro. And the thing is, Paris Saint-Germain, they changed up their lineup because they knew we can't fuck around in the 4-2-4.
They learned from that first leg.
Yes, and they performed really well. And they should have scored more. But Pope was outstanding. Miley looked like a player that could cope with playing Champions League football. Livramento done a great job defending Dembele. Trippier was really good, actually, and Lascelles was good at containing Mbappe. Guimaraes was trying to give us outlets long. Joelinton physically was, Almiron ran his fucking ass off and played brilliant defensively. Same thing with Gordon. Like, this was one of the best team performances in terms of coaching, because this isn't our first choice 11. It's close to my first choice 11 when everyone's fit. But like this, I don't know. Do you remember watching that game? This one?
Yeah, I was watching that game and I was like, the game ended and I was thinking, 4 points against PSG.
Another one against Milan. Yeah. So we're at 5.
And now, at that point in the group, were you guys second or third?
Well, so Dortmund. This was the week, I believe. Let me double check. I'll pull up another tab. By the way, people, make sure you smash up the like, subscribe. We will get on to Chelsea, but just want to do Newcastle. Got to do this. So at that point, pull up this tab. This was at this point, it was match day 5. Sorry. It was match day 5. Dortmund had beaten Milan 3-1. They were excellent that day. So Dortmund had 3 points, 6 against us. So they were at 9. They were at 10 points. So we and PSG were third. So we, even after this game, it was Milan bottom. We were at what's it called? We were in second. PSG were third, and Dortmund were up top by at least 2. So going into the final day, so basically if we won this game, we would have just needed a point to qualify in second. But people try to claim this game as the robbery, and it's like, yes, it was a very bad call from the ref. But like, we were still in shape going into the AC Milan game, which was the game that pissed me off the most. We'll get to that soon. But we, like, up until this point, we've done an outstanding job in the Champions League, all things considered, even though the 2 Dortmund games were outclassed. So, but yeah, at this point, we were prime. We were second. So, but yeah, this was a brilliant defensive display from us. And look at our bench as well. James Huntley, Michael Ndiwi, Ndenwi. Is that a Nigerian last name? Ndiweni? That Nigerian?
Well, who am I looking at?
Michael Ndenwi.
Michael Ndenwi.
Is that Nigerian?
I'm not sure. I can look it up. It might be.
And then we had Lewis Hall on the bench, Karius, Dummett, Dubravka. So This was, like I said, brilliant result. Michael, so just regular way to spell Michael, N-T-I-W-E-N-I.
No. He's Zimbabwe.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
I thought so, because with the W and stuff.
Yeah,
that's from that part of Africa.
But so that was a notable result. Then, so this is, by the way, and we'll get onto the injuries when we wrap up the Newcastle talk in terms of what I feel about them. These 3 games, we did not have our first choice 11. We had a very poor bench, but we managed to get some decent results against opposition of a higher or similar level. This game killed me as well. The Everton 3-0. We beat Man United 1-0, and I expected to win that, and we did. This is where it fell apart our season. This is where it really did. 3-0 to Everton. Then they beat you guys the following Sunday, like 2-0. So that was Everton during their kind of good patch of form. Got smoked by Tottenham, and I knew we would. I actually predicted the score spot on 4-1. This game, of all the games this year, this was the one that aggravated me the most because we were so good the first. This was Liverpool if you change out the shirt color and the crest. It's Liverpool if you take this is the game we had against the Liverpool where they lost 2-1. This is a heartbreaker. And all we needed was a point to get third because PSG and Dortmund ended up drawing. And again, we made the game a basketball game. The lack of control in the game that we had invited Milan to make those subs like Chukwueze, who scored the winning goal in the 84th minute, and Pulisic, who equalized. We were so good in the first half. And Isak came on, Byrne came on. That was a bad sub. And again, Longstaff comes on late in the game, and we end up losing because of our lack of control. So it was a really good game to watch. It was a very entertaining game, but yeah, we fucked up here. If we won the game or at least draw, we'd get Europe. So it was just a kick in the nuts for me. And it was and the in-game stuff from Eddie Howe. This is my biggest complaint about him because we had that game on lock in the first half. Like Milan were on their deathbed, really. So and this is my problem. It was back and forth, and Eddie Howe. We need to. I've started your question, Warrior. I'll get to that in a minute.
Was that was the point? Sorry, my bad.
You're good.
What does that do?
I'll change. It's all good. I'll go to. Oh yeah, it's this one.
What was the point in the? Is this where you started to question Eddie Howe?
Yeah. And I already was for the Everton and the Spurs one. So this was where I really started to ask questions. I'm like, bro, we're in a spot where we can get out of the group if we just hang on. I actually thought we'd win the game because AC Milan's away form was dreadful in Serie A, and it was not good in the Champs, and it continued to be dreadful. But we made crucial mistakes, and Pioli, I don't rate him, but he made game-changing substitutions that won them the game. And we made game-losing substitutions. More on that in a minute. But this was where I really started to question.
Warrior says Everton 3-0. Was that this when you started to realize
the start of his, it was. It was the start of his dreadful fucking form. Absolutely pathetic. But then we go on to beat Fulham 3-0. Jimenez got a red card early, and then we beat them on the counter, which was good because, and that's, again, I'll give Eddie Howe some credit here because he realized Fulham like to play in possession, but they can get caught out on the break. Even though we were a man up, we decided to play on the counter. So that was good. And that's why I thought going into the Chelsea game, I was like, I think we can nick it. I think we can advance. And the fucking Trippier mistake, man. We played defensive the whole game against you guys. And you guys, again, it was a poor coaching display from Poch this game. The one we played you guys in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. It was very poor. And we just fucked it, man. And then we decide Eddie Howe decides to play Trippier, and he decides in the penalty shootout he's going to fucking take a penalty. He just made a mistake, dude. Like, it's not good, bro. It's not good. Yes, this is where I went on the terrace and went on the away form rant. And I continued. So, and then the away
game.
Oh,
like,
talk to me about this one.
That was such a lifeline for Poch.
Yes.
We were awful that game, and going into extra time. See, Gallagher, that was the period of the season where Enzo was playing as a 10. We had no fullbacks.
Yes.
Just
play with the back three.
We were there for the taking, and in Newcastle, it's just not good enough from a Newcastle perspective. But
Botman came back and looked shaky, by the way, as well. He looked injured. I was like, why is he playing? But again, I'll give him credit. He played Livramento at left back. But Byrne just came back actually. And why did he come on? I don't fucking know. But yeah, I was fucking furious. I remember doing the watch on with Jimmy Spliff, and I was literally like breaking everything I could in my room that wasn't worth some money. I destroyed a remote. I was fucking incensed. Absolutely incensed that we lost.
Didn't deserve that, and that back pass Mudryk gets on the end of it, and
good finish, but yeah.
It is a good finish, and then we win it on pens, so lucky. We don't deserve it. We didn't deserve it.
Our collapse kind of continued here. We lost to Luton. At this point, we have one win in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. And then this was the one where I had my serious doubts about Eddie Howe. This was abysmal. Chris Wood took into fucking no. About the Luton one, I knew we would lose that game because Luton were actually in some decent form, and that was the game after Luton. Remember, Luton played Bournemouth, and their captain collapsed on the pitch. He had a heart attack. It was Luton's game first after that, so I was like, emotionally, they're going to be up for it. Our away record sucks, and we lost. So that was that. This one, I was fucking furious. This one was just... It was unacceptable, really. Botman was god-awful, and again, he looked injured. He looked and eventually he tore his ACL, or he damaged his ACL. So this game, though, we did fuck all with the ball. Our shots on target were weak. We didn't just play. We don't do well when we have 60% of the football. We don't do well, and we were close. The strategy and the in-game shit. It's total dog shit. This game just pissed me the fuck off.
I don't know if I asked you this season, but I've been thinking about Newcastle. Does it bother you that you guys lack creativity?
In midfield, yes. Yes. Yeah, we need midfield creativity. By the way, your profile picture is Chloe. But yeah, then after that Nottingham Forest fucking disaster, Liverpool smashed us up 4-2. I wasn't surprised. But yeah, we got fucking
I was muted throughout the whole thing. I asked you, does it bother you this season that Newcastle have only they lack creativity from midfield?
Yes, and that's something we need in the summer. But I don't know if Eddie Howe sees it that way. This is the problem.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's fine if you guys want to create through your fullbacks. But in most games this season, you've only had one fullback on the field.
This is the problem. Dan Burns should not be playing left back for a minute next season. I don't give a fuck. It has to be Livramento or Lewis Hall.
Also, I'm watching the highlights. Newcastle on the counter. Maybe it's just a bad day at the office, but Newcastle, that high line on the counter attack, all it took was just one ball over the top for a Chris Wood second goal.
Yes, exactly, Prime. We enabled their strengths. We enabled them, and they took their chances. Yeah, it was before the game Lockyer collapsed. Exactly. So I knew we would lose the Luton one, and also our record historically at Luton is shocking. And we were playing like crap. So then, I agree with Zetel. Big up to you, bro. This Liverpool game where we lost 4-2, we should have they should have scored like 12, bro. But we only conceded 4. Dubravka had a brilliant game, to be fair. And this was the game, by the way. And by the way, so Nick Pope got injured in the Man United game, so he's been missing for this game, this one, and this one. Dubravka's been in net the whole time. He conceded some fucking shocking goals in some of them, particularly the Everton and the Spurs one. But yeah, then we beat Sunderland 3-0, which is amazing. I don't even think about them, but like that was cool. I'm glad we won that. Advanced in the FA Cup. This game against Man City was a really good one to watch for a neutral, definitely. But we fucked up late again in game substitutions, and Man City are just better. De Bruyne came off the bench and scored a late winner. So it was a case of, yeah, I wanted us to win. I actually predicted. I did a preview of DAPS. I said we'd lose 3-2, and we did. It was in the manner that we lost, though, where it's like coaching-wise, bro, you let yourself down again. But then we beat Fulham 2-0, and we performed horrifically, but Fulham were just not good enough. They didn't take any of their chances. Then we beat Villa 3-1 when they were like impenetrable at home. This was a really, really good performance. And then we followed it up with a 4-4 draw versus Luton in a crazy game that I did with Flawless. I remember doing this with Flawless, and he was like, "We're doing Newcastle Luton Town." And I was like, "Yeah, it's going to be a really good game." And he was like, "I don't know." And then all of a sudden, Luton are up 4-1. And he was like, "Shit, you're right." So again, this was another poor game of coaching, and we had to make a late comeback from 4-1 down. Yeah, it was bad. Longstaff scored 2 goals, but somehow managed to be the worst player on the fucking pitch. Miley struggled a bit. Botman was terrible again, and eventually he would get injured. This is again another one of those fucking games where Dan Burn got skinned by Ogbene. Absolutely skinned. It was another reminder that Dan Burn cannot play left back, and Livramento came on late in the game when he should have been fucking starting. And Lewis Hall, again, should have been left back, even if you under-rest Livramento. That's one thing I'm on Eddie's neck about. But we played into their hands once again, and they got the draw, and it was they performed really well. And I wasn't even surprised that we drew. It was the manner. Then we beat Forest 3-2. Drew 2-2 with Bournemouth, and we were lucky to not lose that game. Very lucky. Arsenal smoked us 4-1, and I knew we would on my birthday as well, and I knew we would get smoked. I predicted the 4-1. Blackburn Rovers game, we were fucking dog shit, but Blackburn didn't take their chances. Beaten Wolves 3-0. I thought we could win this game 2-0, and this is again where I lost my fucking head. Lost 3-2 to you guys. We'll get into that game when we do the Euro season review in shortly. Lost 2-0 to Man City. I knew we'd lose the game. Just disappointed to go out of a cup. This game, David Moyes made a game-losing substitution in Weight Watchers Phillips, and we won that game. That was another crazy game.
What?
David Moyes subbed on Weight Watchers Phillips.
Is that his slander name? Weight Watchers
That's
Phillips.
mine. Yeah. He brought off Ward Prowse. He brought on Weight Watchers Phillips. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, is that a show?
Huh?
Is there not a show called like 50-pound loser or something, or Weight Watchers or something?
The Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, Weight Watcher Phillips, man. That's what I call
I
him.
thought of a new slander name for Reece James. Thank you. Never mind. Continue.
No problem. But yeah, this game we were down 3-1 at the 48th minute. The Jared Bowen goal was the most unforgivable fucking goal to concede. Isak, though, stepped up in the 77 minutes, scored. Ironically, like 2 minutes after Weight Watchers Phillips came on. Then Barnes scored 2, and then Gordon scored a dagger late. We were terrible in the game, but we finished the game very strong because, again, David Moyes made a game-losing substitution. So that was funny. Drew to Everton, that was shite. We played well in the game, but didn't take any of our chances. And then, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored a late pen. We were dreadful the entire game against Fulham. We scored the win. We smoked Spurs. This was unexpected as well, in my opinion. Completely unexpected. Because Spurs had a fully fit squad, no injuries at all besides Udogie was there. And we smoked them 4-0. This is another game where it's like, Eddie, as a coach, you got it spot on, bro. You got it spot on. Because we played on the counter, let Spurs have all the ball, and we ripped them apart to pieces on the counter. So this was again, I'll give them credit there, but that was unbelievable. That wasn't even that long ago, to be fair. They're coming up on the end of it, people. And then 4-0.
So Palace, so it's games like that. Sorry, that show there's some games he has he could have got things a bit better, but games like that against a strong Spurs team at that time, and he's able to pull off a masterclass like that.
Yeah,
it shows you that even though you were Eddie Howe out at one point, it shows you he deserves at least one more season.
Yeah, and looking over at Prime, it actually helps me to kind of gather all my thoughts because we and you have gone over the crucial games and then talked about the other ones, looked at the lineups. We're looking at everything in its context. We're looking at everything in its context sort of thing. So you're right, it does help with that. But then we got smoked by Palace. I thought we'd draw, but this and it's still the Glasner on tour kind of thing. Palace destroyed us. We beat Sheffield United. We started off like fucking dog shit this game against Sheffield United. They went 1-0 up like 5 minutes in. But then we responded very strongly in the second half. The first half we should have it was dreadful, bro. It should have been a 3-4-1 up. But Sheffield United just doing Sheffield United things, scored 5. Beat Burnley 4-1, started off the game poorly again. You noticing a theme? Noticing a theme, by the way?
Yeah, starting off the games poorly, yeah.
Starting off the games poorly or poor performances where you get the win, it's cool, but like as a coach, I want you to just do a little better. We were lucky to get a draw against Brighton. The Man United game was fucking awful. We let them.
I thought you batter Man United.
Yeah,
I think it's 3 or 4-0.
And I said draw because I'm like, I know what these guys are about. I know what the season's been. So, yeah, then we beat Brentford on the final day 4-2. So that in totality, we got to 7. So some key things: 85 goals scored. That's the best out of the league. It's the best in the league outside of Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. So the 4th best attack in the league. Defensively, everyone's defense was shit this year. Everyone's defense, if you're not named Arsenal and Man City. Liverpool's was bad. Aston Villa's got increasingly worse. Spurs was chaotic and messy the whole time. You guys defensively were shambolic. Man United somehow had a better defense, by the way, than the top 6. West Ham, Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham. They have a top 10 defense somehow, but played like one of the worst teams in the league. It was just overall, Prime, if I had to one word to describe Newcastle's seasons, it's just helter-skelter. That's kind of the word.
I think like the injuries massively don't help either. But I think from Newcastle, you had a good season, but like, how do I word it? With the context of the injuries, you had a consistent season, some high parts like battering Spurs, PSG, but you also had some very low parts, losing to Man United, Luton result, etc. So all in all, you take that into context. 7th is a good season. Now, obviously, next season you need to do better. You need to keep players fit. You need to push for top 4 again. You need to win something. But my thing is with Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
Because you say get rid of him, and fine, if you do, it needs to be someone better than him. I don't agree going for Mourinho's the right move.
But wouldn't that accomplish the trophy thing? Doesn't that give us a chance there?
Potentially, but I don't think you have the squad to win something.
Do you think we have players that suit Mourinho historically, like the players that he likes. Like Isak for me is a Mourinho striker. Botman.
Yeah.
They have a very tall side.
Okay,
Strong.
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you do any better this season? If Mourinho was in charge from the start of the season, do you finish any higher?
Oh, well, here's what I'll say. And I'm going to go back to the Milan game. Brian, I'm going to ask you this. We'll look at the 11 that we had in the squad. All right? This team, Ben, considering our first half performance, if you put Mourinho in the dugout, you give him a 1-0 lead, and you need to not lose the game against AC Milan, who are a good team, but they did not play or perform very well this year. Do you think Eddie Howe's more likely to get a draw or a win in the game at your ground to get to the knockout rounds or Europa, or Mourinho?
Okay, but do you think you lost your game because of Eddie Howe or because of your inexperience?
Inexperience played a part, but he set us up to go back and forth when all we needed was a 1-0, or when it went to 1-1, keep the draw kind of thing. By the way, we brought on fucking Longstaff for Miley late in the game. So yeah, I put that more on Eddie.
No, okay, I got what you mean. Fine. I mean,
but then again, I look at a game like the Chelsea game and against you guys in the cup. He did what I asked for. Play defensive. We've got the 1-0 lead. Chelsea with the ball, struggle. We tried to hit on the counter, just couldn't conjure up anything. Mourinho would have done the same thing.
Yeah,
so I mean, defensively, Eddie Howe in certain games has kept teams completely quiet, even though they might be way better squads.
But even then, like, do you finish any higher in the league? I don't think so. With the injuries you had, I don't think you finish any higher. And even if you do, you guys finished 8 points off of Villa, by the way. It's only 8 points. Do I think? I mean, again, you guys could have been in the Carabao Cup final if it wasn't for Trippier's back pass. So again, if you end the season 7th, bottom of your Champions League group, but you're in another Carabao Cup final, is that not a better season? It's because of Trippier's back pass where you're questioning things. But if you're in a Carabao Cup final, even say you lose it, getting to another final again, considering all your injuries, all of a sudden you're looking at things a lot different. So it's the fine margin there. But I don't know. I think Eddie Howe is worth one more season, especially when you look at, unless you guys were to get like an Amorim or something, then fine, go for it. But right now, you don't need to. I rate Eddie Howe. You don't need to.
Okay.
You don't need to get rid of him, at least for one.
What signings do we have to? I'll pull up our squad. We'll move on to the Chelsea thing in a few minutes. If we're keeping Eddie Howe, which I'm cool with, I understand it because you're right. Like, he has done a pretty good job this season, injuries considered. I just need him to, in certain spots, certain substitutions, strategy. I need him to just fix up in certain areas. I don't mind getting outclassed by the better team if you do everything in your power. Hence why I didn't really complain much about the Man City losses too much.
And remember, this is the first time he's had to deal with European football. I know he's played multiple games a week in the Championship, but that's different.
It's different.
Playing in Europe and he's not. I don't think, barring Chelsea, no other Premier League team has had to deal with this many injuries with a squad that lacks massive squad depth. Again, I think you guys have been fine all season, and there's a reason why your owners didn't get rid of him. They still stuck with him. So,
no, I'm cool with that. I am cool with that. In terms of the pros from this season, definitely the 4-1 PSG win. The fact that we were very competitive in the group for 4 out of the 6 games. The fact that Lewis Miley, Livramento, Lewis Hall made good impressions. what's it called? Isak was a huge positive. We scored a lot of goals, and that's good. So there are some positives, definitely. But the cons, like I said, it took too long for him to realize that Dan Burn can't play left back. And we've been exposed in certain games where I called it before the game, and then it happened, and then it fucked up again. So there's certain – overall, you're right. I agree with you. I would give Eddie one more chance unless, an Amorim or Ancelotti, let's say he fucking falls down the stairs and wakes up and is like, oh, I want to go to Newcastle. It's like, okay.
Ancelotti.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but you get my point. But yeah, overall 7th, I'll take it. Man United have to lose the FA Cup final. I think they will.
Bro, if Ancelotti went in Newcastle.
Ooh. What? Are you laughing like that would be good?
I'm laughing because that would be crazy.
Would. Did you know
Real Madrid would have to sack him. He's not leaving.
Did you know, by the way, me and Andrew Bell have a theory that Pep could be manager in 2 years at Newcastle.
No.
You know why?
Why?
You know why? Because like Mourinho, he has a connection with Bobby Robson from Barcelona. He actually said, and you could Google it, Pep said a few times that he loves Newcastle, the fans, the stadium and stuff. And Bobby Robson was manager of Barca in the 90s when Pep was playing. And he wanted to go to Newcastle, actually, Pep, as a player. So just be on the lookout. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm proud. I'm just saying keep your eyes posted about it in the next few years.
Oh yeah, he's gonna leave Man City a possible 6p to go to Newcastle.
I'm just saying keep your eyes posted about it because Andy Bell pointed it out to me. And sometimes, Andy will sometimes point out something before it happens that it's like, bro, you're crazy. And then it like happens.
I will say this though, Newcastle will be the next dominant force in the Premier League.
Do you think he's like Ranieri or like Mark Hughes? Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I think this is the before. Yeah, Eddie Howe's your Ranieri. Yeah, he's the man before the man. I think Newcastle is the next dominant force in English football. I think once Pep leaves, Newcastle will start just raking in the trophies.
Big up Staffy. That's fair.
Why is TJ here? Oh, in the chat.
I don't know, because TJ just it's TJ's world we're living in. But yeah, to wrap up Newcastle overall, I'm happy overall with the season we had. Again, in certain spots we paid the price for lack of depth, but also sometimes Howe as a coach didn't do the very best he could. But I think overall, and we'll go to you guys now in terms of Chelsea. We'll talk about Chelsea now. Going in, I think Eddie Howe did you finished above us. You made a cup final, got further in the FA Cup than us. However, I think Eddie Howe, coaching wise, did a better job than Poch. Is that fair or foul?
No, that's fair. That's very fair. Remember when you kept saying sack Eddie Howe? And I said, respect my manager. I would have taken Eddie Howe in a heartbeat. Eddie Howe with this squad, we finished top 4. Poch with your squad.
Yeah, probably.
Injuries.
Yes.
Yes. Your injuries. Bro, you guys don't make top 10. I'll be so real.
Yeah. Yeah, we finished 11th or 12th, 100%.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, going on to Chelsea. In terms of your season review. So what we've got for you guys is going into the season, this was your squad. You didn't buy anyone in January, I don't believe. You just loaned out Maatson, which is a big talking point. This is your squad going into it. Sanchez, Disasi, you bought from Monaco. Same with Benoit Bediashile, Cucurella, Thiago Silva, Raheem Sterling, Enzo Fernandez, Mikhailo Mudryk, Noni Madueke, Marcus Bettinelli, Trevor Chalba, Nicholas Jackson, Leslie
Oguchukwu, Carney Chuameka, Christoph Nkuku, Cole Palmer, Ben Chilwell, who's our vice captain, Conor Gallagher, who's our third choice captain, Reece James, who's our first choice captain, Moises Caicedo, Levi Colwill, Malo Gusto, Dorde Petrovic,
George
Petrovic, Cesar Cassidy, Wesley Fofana, David Washington, Alfie Gilchrist, I hate that. Diego Nogueira, Romeo Lavia, and Malang Sarr, who is not given a squad number, and Poch doesn't know who he is. So yeah, that is our full squad list. So Chelsea.
So what did you? So going into. So we'll do the same format as the Newcastle. What did you think going into the season? Expectations.
I expected us, and Warrior, you're also here as well. You're a Chelsea fan. Put in the chat as well. All the questions Steve asked me, put in the chat your answers as well for it, and we'll bring them up. Or any other Chelsea fans that are watching for that matter. Yeah, Chelsea. I expected us to compete for top 4, and I said we'd finish between 6 to 8, because I thought the players' inexperience would let Poch down and we'd fall away near the end of the season. So even though I had all my reservations about Poch and I didn't want him, I still kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt and said he will, because again, this whole narrative, he knows how to work with a young squad. I still gave him the benefit of the doubt and said he will be able to develop these players, but some of the inexperience will let him down, like Jackson being our only striker, for example. You know.
Well, and Broja, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we also have Broja, but yeah. But you know, even though we finished 6th, so people can say, well, he hit my target, but the way the season went, I thought we challenged for top 4. We didn't challenge at all. We were so awful. Majority of the season spent in around 10th, and actually we can actually go through it now. So we opened the season at home at Stamford Bridge. Are you gonna get it up or?
Oh yeah. I just had a few more kind of questions, like in terms of like what we're going. Yeah, it's okay. Going into the season, what were like the strengths that you figured that the squad right here has, and what were the weaknesses or your concerns? Like what led you to your expectations?
Because I kept saying to people, we have a top 4 or at least a top 6 minimum squad that we can challenge for top 4. And I looked at also all the teams around us. I looked at Newcastle and I figured your squad depth, you guys can't cope with 2 games a week, for one, and 2, people now know how good Newcastle are, so teams will be a lot more drilled against you guys. I looked at Villa and I said Villa wouldn't make top 4 just because they will go far in Europe and Emery will target to win the Conference League and they'll fall away near the end, which again didn't happen. They lost in the semi-final. But I looked at Spurs. I thought Spurs would be a lot worse this season because their squad is just not good. Spurs have a 11, but their squad depth is not good at all. That's why I keep telling people Chelsea squad is better than Spurs. People were lying to me.
They are. Yeah.
I looked at who else was around us. Where did Chelsea finish? Chelsea finished 6th. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the table around us. Villa, Spurs. I mentioned Man United. Like United fans were talking about how great last season was and how much it was a success. I didn't really say this out loud because I wasn't bothered to have debates about it, but I kept thinking United have vastly over it. Even though I believe United are a top 4 squad, they took advantage of how poor other teams around them were. Chelsea were awful, Liverpool were poor, etc. Spurs were poor. They took advantage of it. So I figured with other teams around it, Chelsea, we can take advantage of some teams being poor and potentially get top 4. But we didn't do that. Warrior says, preseason, a lot of Chelsea fans were coming into the season positive because of preseason. I wasn't, because I wasn't impressed with preseason, because even though we scored a lot of goals, the style of play, I didn't really see much of it. I didn't see anything from it, to be fair. But yeah,
so,
good squad.
Just on that real quick, the only reason I guess I was kind of catfished too a little bit by it, because here's what it was, because me and Jimmy went to 2 Chelsea games in preseason. Shout out Jimmy Spliff all day, every day. And me and him, I didn't have any I didn't rate your appointment of Poch, and I put you 7th for that reason, because I'm like, there are 6 better managers in the league minimum, even though you have a really good squad. So I just felt that's a good place to kind of put him. I was impressed by you in preseason because I didn't expect anything. That's what it was.
But I think that's why people got gassed, because that not expecting anything and all the good words said up from Poch, all the thing of this is Chelsea,
I didn't even care what he said.
There is no process. He was saying buzzwords like it's Chelsea, there is no process, we have to win
every day,
etc. All those generic buzzwords. And I was like, cool, I get it, you guys love it. But I don't see anything on the pitch. But it's preseason. You can't really judge preseason. I've seen teams lose preseason and win the league. I've seen teams win every game. And like the season Chelsea finished 10th, we won every game in preseason, I think. So I know preseason isn't much of a barrier to judge things off of. So I was like, cool, let me not speak. And let me just watch. Let me not burst people's bubble, because this is the first time in a while that we're being positive under this ownership. But yeah, do you have any more questions, or do you want to go into the season?
I was just gonna say, like, do you think you needed, before the season started, not in hindsight, before the season started, when the window slammed shut, were you like, we still needed to get this position, that position? Like, did you feel overall as a squad that you did as good a job as possible recruitment wise? Because you signed some good players.
I wanted a striker. I didn't. You know this. I did not rate Jackson at all. From preseason, I didn't see anything from Jackson. I was like, this. People were calling him Baby Drogba. I was like, this guy is.
People are getting carried away. I like Jackson to be Real.
Yeah, he's not good enough to lead the line as Chelsea. And to be fair, I was probably very harsh on him, because this is his first season playing first team football as a starter. And, you're coming to a big club like Chelsea, and he only cost 35 mil. So I probably shouldn't have been as harsh on him. So I'll hold that up and say I was wrong, and I apologize. But I was coming from a good place, because if we were to get top 4 or challenge for top 4, we needed goals. I didn't expect him to get over 10 goals. He got 14 goals. I didn't expect him to get up to 10. I thought he'd get around 8 or something. So to get that, and particularly his form after AFCON, like, I started having conversations on casually come February, March, that if we don't get Victor Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres, that Jackson, we can go again with him. I don't know if he's actually a striker or if he's an inside forward. I really don't know. But as a player all round, he is one of, I don't know if people agree with this, I think he's one of the better forwards in the league. Like, I've had this conversation with you when we did our combined 11 with Newcastle, that he should be starting in this team. And people talk about how much they rate like Isaac and Gordon. His numbers are roughly on par with these guys. He costs less than Rasmus Højlund, and he's outscoring him. He's outscoring Premier League seasoned veteran Jesus. He's outscoring Nunez. He starts for every team in the league, barring Man City. I don't think anyone really that. Maybe you can say Newcastle, because
we have a very good attack.
Yeah, but other than that, he starts for Spurs. He starts for Arsenal, whether off the left or up top. I think he starts for Villa, personally. Maybe that might be questionable. But even still, Man City, Newcastle, Villa, that's only 3 teams he doesn't play for, doesn't start for.
Yeah.
And even still, he makes Newcastle's squad because Isaac is injury prone. So
Of
he definitely
course, he makes the squad. I'm taking him over Wilson availability all day.
Yeah. So
I like Wilson. I think you do too. He's a really good finisher, but like can't ever stay fit.
Yeah, and I get some of the frustrations people have with Jackson's finishing, but he's still young, and he still has time to grow. Like his all-round play is already,
He's a good
his all-round
footballer.
play is already phenomenal. All he has to work on is
very good.
finishing. He will get there. He will. I trust him to get there. And even if he doesn't become a prolific goal scorer, he's a brilliant creator. The chances he creates, if like for example, the Carabao Cup final, the goal for Sterling that was wrongfully ruled offside, Sterling's goal against Man City that Jackson created. If this season we played a lot more to Sterling in terms of letting him be on the end of every chance we create, we would have scored a lot more goals and probably been a lot higher. But yeah, Jackson, like for me to go from someone who not hated him, but someone who didn't want him
at all, really,
to now being one of his biggest fans, like that shows the impact he's had.
He grew.
And I can admit when I'm wrong.
Season.
Yeah, I can really admit when I'm wrong. One of the games this season, I was so frustrated with Jackson Bournemouth. Yeah, he's gonna have frustrating games, but that's the thing. He's had to lead our line all season because we haven't had a striker. And Cuckoo's been out injured, who could have played that false nine. And Broha. And to be fair, I don't really blame all of the bad games per se on Broha. I think Poch didn't play to Broha's strengths.
Exactly.
But Jackson is superior to Broha. I remember saying back in like October, November when Jackson was going through his period of just missing, play Broha. He's better than Jackson. And we saw during AFCON how bad Broha is. And I don't blame it per se just on Broha. He's coming back from an injury. It's going to take him time to work his way back. Yeah. But Jackson is just 35 million is a bargain. And that's why I look at our scouts and they know how to find players. Even forget Cole Palmer because what he's been doing, but Jackson, look at Malo Gusto, how he's been performing.
And I loved him at Lyon. I knew that was going to be a good signing.
I knew he'd be brilliant as well. But like finding these gems, bro, like I'm just Is there any other questions you want to ask, or do you?
No, not really. I kind of get what you're feeling as going into the season. But yeah, now we'll look at in totality what kind of played out. So the Dortmund was a preseason one, but first game of the season, y'all played Liverpool.
Yes.
And I was
Jack Sanchez, the Sassy, Silva, Colwell, the back three. Well, it wasn't a back three. The lineup tricked people. It was a back four. It was a back four of Reece James, the Sassy, Silva, and Colwell. Gallagher, Enzo, double pivot, and a front with Sterling, Chumeka, and Chilwell, and Jackson up top. That game.
I remember this game. You guys played a lot better than them. To be honest,
we did. Particularly, like the first 20 minutes, we were poor. It was so shaky. Liverpool went 1-0 up. Brilliant from Diaz. He was up against Cole and he was skinning in that first 20. Brilliant goal. Tap in from Diaz. And then Liverpool went 2-0 up. And then
disallowed.
It was a ball from Trent in behind and it was disallowed. Bro, if that went 2-0, I guarantee we would have lost again.
Yeah, probably.
Because we were so all over the place that first 20. But then it was ruled off and then we built ourselves back into the game. Ball in. Headed ball in the box, cleared, Chilwell heads it back in, and the Sassy taps it in. And at that point, we're all over Liverpool, particularly in the second half. Poch switches it up a bit. He leaves Gallagher as a lone TM, which for some reason worked. And we were all. Chilwell also scored in the first half. A goal was also ruled off for offside. So like. But yeah, in the second half, like Gallagher played like lone DM, and we basically were kind of all over Liverpool. So yeah, a draw, I guess you could say, kind of was a fair result. from both sides. And
yeah,
even though I didn't like the setup with Cole at left back and Chlo at left wing, for whatever reason, the excuses was we lacked height. But it worked for that game, and it looked like we were, I guess, maybe trying to build something. Next game was
West Ham. This was the game Jimmy turned. This is the infamous Jimmy game.
But yeah, we signed Caicedo after the Liverpool game, or at least he was kind of officially announced. But yeah, we also signed like Lavia as well. But yeah, Liverpool, West Ham 3, Chelsea 1.
Yes, killer.
That game was like, if you want to know why people were skeptical on Poch, and were right to be skeptical on Poch, that first game shows all of our weaknesses of Pochettino's Chelsea. Terrible from set pieces. The first goal, yeah, but it shows his first goal from Odegaard. Yeah, terrible from set pieces. And I know people can say Ward-Prowse is a free kick specialist, or a set piece specialist, but terrible goal to concede from the header. Like, we should be defending it a lot better. Now, to be fair, Chelsea, like, we try and get ourselves back into the game. Carney is like pulled down in the box, free kick not given. Carney ends up scoring. Brilliant piece of play from him to shimmy away and get his shot off. And Carney was starting to grow into the game a little bit.
Yeah, he's played as a 10, right?
Yeah. And I think that was the game where he ended up getting injured, I think.
Yes, it was. He was unavailable.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
I remember. Sorry, I was just gonna say. I remember when it was like, oh, it's just 3 weeks. And then it was like months. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, which was like unfortunate. But and then there's the whole penalty that we win and Enzo takes and he misses.
Yeah.
Which was like, that was a big moment, because that's 1-1. If we score that penalty, it's 2-1 Chelsea, and the game could be different. Antonio bullies Chlo.
Yes, he
and
does.
A brilliant finish from him. That shows, as great of a talent Chlo may be, that's Premier League experience right there from Antonio. Yeah. And so maybe Poch has a point, needing more experience, because you can't get bullied like that. I know Antonio is a unit of a striker, but you're not allowed to get bullied like that. And then
Odegaard got sent off.
Odegaard gets sent off from a stupid tackle on flying into Jackson. Like, Jackson's not really going anywhere, to be fair. But West Ham are a man down. They're winning 2-1, but they're a man down, and there's still time. There's 23 minutes at that point to get back into the game, Chelsea. And to be fair, we try to. Nani comes on and tries to make something happen. But in the end, we get sucker punched with Paqueta. And that's Caicedo. He comes off the bench for his debut, and he gives away a penalty, tackling Emerson, I think. Emerson. And yeah, we lose the game 3-1. When, like, that game could have been very different if Enzo scored his penalty, for example. That game's very different.
Yeah.
And we probably go on to win. We could have gone on to win 3-1. So, like, that's a very kind of, like, close. It's just, like, yeah, it's just an annoying game, but it's starting to show how we were going to be during the season under Poch. Yeah, when I look at the chat, we were under pressure early, but going to the game. Oh, that's about Liverpool.
Liverpool 1-1, yeah.
Since it was the first game, I didn't have anger sense for you. True. We couldn't deal with the set piece against West Ham. I thought the Carney sub for Mudryk was wrong. Let's see the bench. Sorry for that game.
Yeah. I got it. Y'all have your 11 was this: Sanchez, Silva, Disasi, Colwell, Chilwell, Gallagher, Fernandez, Gusto, Sterling, Jackson, Chukwuemeka, Mudryk, Madueke, Caicedo, Burstow, Cucurella was on the bench, Ugochukwu was on the bench, Madsen was on the bench, Lucas Bergstrom, and Mesher Humphrey.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, to be fair. I mean, we didn't have Cole Palmer at that point, you know?
That's true.
Yeah, so there's nothing we couldn't have done more. So yeah, next game we go on to.
Yeah, you beat up 3-0.
At Stamford Bridge 3-0.
You didn't play well that game, right?
Who?
You didn't really perform that well, right? In the Luton game.
Against Luton. It was just a professional game. It's you're playing a relegation side, and Sterling played. He played well that game. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, you're right. That game was actually quite shaky because
Luton showed up.
I thought it was more about. Yeah, 3-0 doesn't really reflect how well Luton played. To be fair, certain moments they could have got back into the game. If you click on it and you bring it up, yeah, Sterling brace. Sterling himself, though, he was on fire, and this is why I kept saying to Chelsea fans, like, if we play to our strengths, we can get goals out of Sterling. And particularly against relegation sides this season, Sterling's been on job. So yeah, that first goal was just him like driving him through on the right side. The second goal from Jackson, or not the second goal, but the Sterling's second goal is actually kind of like, that's right. Yeah, it was just kind of like an end-to-end game, and we kind of deserved to get a bit of luck because against West Ham, that was a game where the luck kind of went against us. You know, Enzo missing that pen, and then the game going the way it did when it went in our favor. Though Dowry wasn't playing that game. No, he was Giles. Giles was playing that back. Yeah. The second game, that second goal, brilliant assist from Malo Gusto as well, my boy. And Jackson's third goal is an assist from Sterling. So yeah, people, as much as Chelsea fans want to slander Sterling, they don't give him the credit he deserves for how we've played times this season.
Design a system that'll get him goals.
Exactly.
Then you played in the Carabao Cup. I heard you played horribly versus Wimbledon, like horrifically.
What's funny is
it wasn't on TV.
It wasn't, so we don't really know how it went, and which is probably a good thing. Which is a good thing because Chelsea fans, if that was televised on TV, we would have ripped into everybody.
Then you lost to Forest. This was the first big red flag as well.
Yeah, that was. If there's ever a red, the games beforehand, people can like say, yeah, okay, maybe, but this was a major red flag. Again, that was a back four. Everyone keeps thinking it was a back three. It was a back four. Gusto, Disasi, Silva, Colwell, Caicedo, and Gallagher double pivot, Enzo in the 10, Sterling, Chilwell on the flanks with Jackson up top. We still haven't bought Cole Palmer at this point. And we get sucker punched by Nottingham Forest near the end.
Alanga, yeah.
Yeah, and the sucker punch on the counter attack by Anthony Alanga. It was just like kind of like a typical Poch game. Nottingham Forest defended well. You have to give credit to them. They played very well that game.
Yeah.
But it was just like typical Chelsea, like typical Poch. And again, for 8 minutes in the second half. So that's another sign of Chelsea where we start off second half poorly. 3 minutes into the second half, we can see 4 minutes in the second half, we can see. Yeah, it was. I'm watching the goal back, and Like I'm seeing the goal back.
Yeah.
What was their front three? Sorry.
Front three was Gibbs White, Danilo, Awoni.
I think that's an assist from Awoni. Yeah. They split our defense open. Like we're playing and it's a good goal from Malanga, but yeah, it's just that's another warning sign.
Respond with anything though. You had 2 shots on target. I remember the game. You just could not fucking shoot for the life of you.
Yeah, that was the game. Yeah, and when they scored in the second half, Sterling dribbling through near the edge, he cuts it back, and Jackson just plays it over the bar, and then you have a free kick that's played into Thiago Silva on the edge, and it's a brilliant save from Matt Turner. So those are the only 2 chances we had. So yeah,
2 chances against Forest.
And there was also a chance near the end from Malanga where he tried to play it to the corner flag. He flew Madueke, nutmegged, I think, Mudryk, and it was a brilliant save from the Chelsea keeper. But
Sanchez,
again, warning signs. The previous warning sign was a set piece by West Ham. No one wanted to take it seriously. This is another warning sign of Chelsea. But yeah, next game.
Yeah, it was Bournemouth 0-0. This is another one where it was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but after this game...
this is the protect the point game.
Yeah, so after this Forest game, we then go sign Cole Palmer near the end of the window. We sign Cole Palmer, and then we go into the for the Bournemouth game. No.
Yeah, protect the point, mate.
Protect the fucking point.
And you did?
Yeah, actually, let me just look at the chat. Yeah, we did.
Yes, and yes, this is what I'm telling people. I like Iraola's appointment. In that game, he did show a good coaching display. The result wasn't the best because they probably should have won, but you guys.
Barrio Martelli, we will answer that question near the end. We will talk about Newcastle and Chelsea's targets.
Yes.
Yes. Scary thing is, I don't think Poch can lose games like West Ham, even if he gets all the players he wants. Yeah, that West Ham game was just like, because particularly that early on in the season, like that West Ham game, Wimbledon game, I had no idea what was going on TV. Yeah, I don't think I've even watched. I've not watched any highlights of that Wimbledon game. I don't think so. You really don't know how that game went, barring like the notifications I was getting from journalists and the fact that we won.
Yeah.
That was Forest's last win before they went winless in 15 games. Jackson's miss.
It was terrible.
Yeah, that Jackson miss. Oh my god, Jackson, don't do that again, man. That game made me realize what we were in for this season. Yeah, Awoni cooked Silva. Yeah, that was during Awoni's purple patch from the end of last season to the start of this season. He was on a crazy purple patch. Langa, Notma, and Mudryk. Yeah. But yeah, that game, Sanchez saved us that day. Yeah, he did actually, to be fair. That was when people were thinking Bournemouth would get relegated. Yeah, because they were poor after us. Oh, yeah. Palmer was a sub in the Forest game. Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry.
And then you lost to Villa 1-0 when they started off the season strong as well. And they didn't actually play well that game. We played Villa 4 times this year and actually played better than them in all of them. Like that was one opponent where Poch actually had some success coaching wise. Or you performed well at least. But this didn't happen enough for you guys.
If we had beaten Forest, Burnley, Bournemouth, and Sheffield United, we'd be clear of 4th.
Yeah. Not asking them much.
That shows how bad this league is. We still should have. Oh my god. Anyways.
Then you beat Brighton 1-0. I think you played decent in that game. beat Fulham 2-0. I think that was on a Monday. You played all right. Beat them 2-0. Then you smoked Burnley 4-1. The Arsenal-Chelsea one was significant because
we lost 1-0 to Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you want to talk about this one for a minute or what?
No, we can skip that.
All right, cool. But yeah, 1-0, 2-0. You beat Fulham. Burnley. I think I might have missed that game, but yeah.
The Brighton game 1-0. That was a Jackson winner. I remember that. And then
you want to talk about the Arsenal game?
Yeah, and then Fulham, we beat them 2-0. I think that was Broha's first goal, if I'm not wrong. Broha and Mudryk both scored.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Yeah. And then we beat Burnley 4-1. Yeah, we absolutely battered Burnley 4-1. Yeah, then the Arsenal game. We can talk about that. Lineup, bring it up.
Yes.
Talking Sanchez that day in the Arsenal game. We'll get onto that. Yeah, that Arsenal game. If people had doubts about Poch or whatever, that game probably made people think, you know what, maybe I'm being too harsh.
Yeah.
We were brilliant in that game tactically from a defensive standpoint. And even from an attacking standpoint, we were brilliant I think that was the first big game we played, right? If there's any game I wanted to have balling, it's at home. The Arsenal.
Yeah, that was the first big game you had, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first real. Because I remember when the table. Well, yeah, first game Liverpool. But I remember when
the big game of the year
when the table came out. Yeah, but when the fixtures came out, it was first game Liverpool. Fine, that might be a draw, but we had so many games before this Arsenal game where if we won all of them, or even say won the majority of them, and then we play Arsenal and say get a draw, all of a sudden that looks good. But because we were just losing and not playing well going into this Arsenal game, there was so much pessimism and pressure. But we start off brilliantly. We're all over them. Enzo blazes it over the bar early on, but like Arsenal just had no way of handling us, no way of living with us. And then it's Sterling with, I think it's Sterling. Sterling with a ball in the box, brilliant ball in the box. Neither goes to header it, and it's Liba with the handball. It goes to VAR. Referee gives it. It's a penalty. Penalty to Chelsea. Cole Palmer takes the pen. Chelsea score. Cole Palmer, I think that's the first celebration where he did the shush.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer scores, and then Chelsea are just in the lead, in full control of the game. Gallagher's running the show. Everyone's just it's a perfect performance. Cole Palmer could have made it 2-0 quickly as well. Could have been an assist from Gallagher, but second half, Chelsea start strongly in the second half as well.
Yeah, it did.
And that Mudryk won their goal, man. Like in the 48th minute.
Yes.
So we're in full control, 2-0. You're thinking, make it 3, kill the game. If we win that game, potentially that's the turning point of the season. Yeah, Chloe was so happy. And Chelsea could have actually made it 3. David Wire poorly playing it out the back, and Cole Palmer tries to capitalize, and we don't score. But like that should have been the turning point where our season really begins. Should have been 2-0 comfortable against Arsenal, but it's not.
A stupid mistake for Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez lazily plays it out. And the thing is, I look at that over and over, and I just think to myself, he's trying to play the Enzo, but it's poor communication. Enzo either isn't aware or Jackson is just sloppy with his pass. But this is why I always say, I understand the play style is playing out in the back, but certain times just boot the ball. You don't need to be doing that. But plays it into the path of Rice, and he takes it in a stride. Great goal from Rice, but at that point, fine. 2-1, you're thinking, what, 13 minutes left to go? Is it 13 minutes left? No.
77, yeah. 13 minutes plus some change in added time.
Yeah, you're thinking, just see the game out. It doesn't matter. 2-1, I'll take it. I'll take 2-1 win. See the game out.
Of course.
And we were sitting, and we were actually defending quite well, to be fair. Yeah. Saka pocketed or didn't do anything all game. But Madueke allows Saka to cut in. He puts in drifts in a ball, back post. Gusto's just not aware. And it's that situation where Gusto early in the season where you're thinking, if that's Reece James, he's aware, he blocks that shot, we probably win 2-1. But yeah, man, a brilliant performance. And I know Chelsea fans were still happy in terms of the performance, but a brilliant game. Like, you see it out 2-0 or even 2-1. And also, Arsenal also nearly won it near the end. Nketiah had a chance that and just missed wide. Yeah. So, like, that could have, it was just so annoying because that should have been the real starting point of our season. 2-0 against Arsenal. Arsenal are meant to be this amazing title challengers. If we win that 2-0, that changes Arsenal season potentially. That changes Chelsea season. But, it's 2-2. Then we go in against
Brentford. This was another red flag. Oh, my Lord.
Big one. And you're thinking, fine, 2-0. And I remember saying this, you know what, fine. Should have been 2-0, but fine, 2-2 against Arsenal. We played well for the majority of the game. You take that same performance into the Brentford game, comfortably we win. Without a question. I remember saying that. And we started off brightly. Madueke started this game. Actually, before we talk about this, let me actually look at the comments if anyone had anything to say.
Especially the likes people.
Yeah, Palmer started false 9. Yeah, because Jackson was suspended, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Jackson had too many yellow cards. I think he was suspended at that point. Everyone did well at the El Shock. Bro, that was almost perfect performance. Arsenal game was still a red flag for me because even though the team played well overall, we just weren't scoring any open goals with or without bad misses. Yeah, I heard that. Chloe was so happy with. Yeah, Chloe was. She was. Yeah, the sassy right back. Sanchez broke the sound. This team had so many turning points and never capitalized. Yeah, exactly. So many confidence boosters wasted in the space of like a month. What, playing Arsenal, Spurs, Man City. We could have beaten Arsenal, beaten Spurs, and near the end, we should have scored against Man City. That's 9 points. Oh my God. So many turning points, and we didn't capitalize. It's so frustrating. But yeah, that Brentford game, we started off brightly, to be fair, but we did start off brightly, but like so many kind of like with missed chances or bad, not having really the final like ball or final product. I'm curious, what was the lineup for that game? Sassy right back, yeah. Palmer. Oh, Enzo was dropped, was he? Enzo on the bench? Oh, he might have been injured, maybe. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, we had so many like chances early on in that game, but
yeah,
typical like Chelsea don't really, particularly at that point in the season, don't really like take them and they scored near the end. Like their first goal is actually just coming up now. It's like a hit and hope from Mbuemo into the box, right? And
do you like Mbuemo? Do you rate him?
I think So, unpopular opinion. And Buemo's better than Tony.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I think he's more important to Brentford as a team than Tony is.
He can play off right wing as a striker in a front two and a
Second
three.
striker. Yeah.
I would take. Well, I don't know if Chelsea need him, Buemo, to be fair, but like a Buemo for me, he could play for. Arsenal should get a Buemo. Him off the right.
Yeah.
Saka. He could play
Chloe
for Arsenal. Play for Man United. When did Chlo turn into a black man? There's so many jokes I can make, but I won't. But yeah, Brentford, the first goal again, poor from a set piece, or not set piece, but not defending from headers from Chelsea. And Steve, this is the goal we conceded on a counter attack. Do you remember this? Where Sanchez came up for the corner.
Oh yeah, the empty net one. Yeah.
I'm watching it now. It's embarrassing. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
And then we played Blackburn Rovers.
Was bad. It was a very poorly coached game from you guys.
And then we played Blackburn Rovers in the cup. We went 2-0.
You didn't play that well though, right?
No.
You're like mediocre kind of. Then you played Spurs.
Steve, we didn't play well in the majority of. But yeah, then we played Spurs, and I was confident for this game. It's Spurs. We're not losing.
Right.
We're not losing against Spurs. Actually, yeah. Thinking in the 4. I remember thinking during the 4-1, 21 times, Burma was through on the run and fouled by the Brentford score. He was amazing. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Everyone talks about Tony. Tony's good.
Mbeumo to Newcastle, yes or no? I'm yes all day for me.
Oh, off the right hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? And Mbeumo, Isaac, and Gordon on the counter attack. Oh my god.
You have power and you have the power of Mbeumo, dribbling ability in Gordon, and you have the finishing of Isak. It's well balanced. Really well balanced.
All you need is creators in that team. But, oh my god, that would be. How old is Mbeumo?
23.
Wait, he's 20. He's young.
Yeah, bro. I'll pull it up right now. Brian Mbeumo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
I thought he was older. So he's older.
Hey, you know what it is? He plays like he's old. He plays like he's experienced as well.
How long has he been playing football for? How long has he been playing football for?
I'll check his wiki. He's been playing football since 2016-17.
Oh, he's been playing forever then. Okay, fair.
He's been playing since he was, 17 years old?
How long has he been at Brentford for?
He's been at Brentford since 2019.
Oh, he was in the championship and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Tony got that promoted.
Bro, it's the hairline and beard tax.
Yeah. He also his face, bro. His face, like naturally, like it looks like he's older. Like the.
You know what? He's African. You know what? He's African. He's African. Bro, if he was English, 23 years old.
24.
Bro, 24. Bro, this is English tax because if Tony was if Tony was from like Ghana and then Mbeumo was English, they'd be talking about Mbeumo. He's a baller. Oh my god.
200 appearances for Brentford in all competitions, 50 goals.
How much would he cost?
45.
Yeah, I'd spend that.
40.
45 on Mbeumo or say 80 million on Tony.
Mbeumo all day.
Yeah, I'm taking Mbeumo. He's a baller.
Or Wissa. I like Wissa as well.
How did no one tell me this, man? I thought he was old.
He's 24, bro. He turned 24 in August.
How old is Wissa?
Yohan Wissa's like 29.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Mbeumo, oh my god.
So you want him at Chelsea, yeah?
No, because I'd like he doesn't. Well, to be honest, I don't know what manager.
Wissa's only 27. Wissa's 27.
How old is Tony?
Tony's 28.
So he's the oldest out of that forward line.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, man. Listen, fuck Tony, man. Mbeumo's the guy.
Mbeumo is the guy. I agree. Yeah, Brentford. Yeah, he's the oldest of their attack. All of their attackers. 28. Mbeumo's 24. Wissa's 27. Mope's 27. Kevin Schad is 22. And Lewis Potter's 23.
Warrior, I'm telling you. And people want Tony at Chelsea. He's 28. This is his prime. No.
He's been poor ever since he came back from suspension.
Well, Tony can, like, when Mbeumo can create something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, back to Chelsea. We'll talk about the 4-4 for a bit.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
This was another game where I think he coached a good game.
Spurs game first.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, hold on.
So, yeah, going into this game, I was confident. Because we typically always beat Spurs anyway, and I figured, like, I remember we went down to 10 men and stuff, or they went down to, like, 10 men and 8 men and stuff. And Spurs fans were saying, oh, they would have beaten us if it was 11v11. I don't believe that. I believe we were always going to beat Spurs anyway. But, yeah. Let's look at the lineups.
Yes.
Spurs, Vicario in goal. A back four of Porto, Romero, Van der Ven, and Udogie. Sarr and Basuma in midfield. I love Sarr. Bro, I kept saying Sarr is their best midfielder, but I love Sarr. And a front four of Kulu, Madison, Johnson, and Son. Chelsea's 11 was scroll on a bit. Chelsea's 11 was Sanchez in goal, Luis James captain, Disasi, Silva, and Colwell. Caicedo and Fernandez as a double pivot. Gallagher 10, Palmer, Sterling, and Nico Jackson.
This is a crazy game.
Crazy. This is basically karma for Spurs with the Liverpool game. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't letting Spurs get away with getting bullied in their own end. The best lineup at that time, and half of them got injured in the red card. Yeah. So this game started off like
they were murdering, bro.
Crazy end to end. Like
Son scored
that Kulu first goal deflection. Just crazy end to end. Like Chelsea got shook early on.
Yeah.
But then we kind of climbed back into the game. Caicedo scored. Brilliant goal on the edge of the box from the D. But it was given offside because Chelsea had a player on the ground.
Yes.
Which is annoying. But it was given off. It wasn't given offside. Sorry, they didn't look at the offside. They looked at the red card incident from Romero. Romero had there was an offside incident from Romero. Romero had tackled Jackson. Romero got sent off. Cole Palmer scores. It's at that point now. Romero Caicedo scores from the D. The goal it's given the VAR. During that time, I remember thinking, are they given an offside because there was a player on the ground? But what had happened was Romero had basically kicked out at Enzo trying to get the ball. Romero got sent off, and it was given a penalty to Chelsea. Palmer steps up, Palmer scores, cool as you like, 1-1. Then we go into the second half. Sterling on the break, carrying ball through the center. He plays a bad ball to Cole Palmer. Udogie intercepts it. This is just ridiculous. Udogie intercepts it. Sterling tries to collect it. Udogie just comes in with a tackle. I think that's the second yellow, and he gets sent off. It's just hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious how it happens. And from there, Spurs are playing like a high line on the halfway.
High line.
It's as if they're sitting in a low block on the halfway line. And it's just literally a training game for Chelsea, where it's like we pass it around on the halfway line. One player goes up to play as if they're offside. We play the ball back. The player drops in. We play it over the top. Someone runs in. It's just like it's like a training game. So many chances Chelsea had. Cucurella missed one. Jackson missed like a billion chances and still got a hat trick. It was just the most entertaining game, you will say.
That was
deserved game, though. Deserved game. Credit to Jackson for the hat trick. But even then, when Jackson scored at 2-1, Spurs had a free kick, ball in from Porro. Yeah, no, not even the dire one. A ball in from Porro, and not Madison. Bentancur could have tapped it in at the back post, and he misses it.
Yes.
So should have been 2-2. And then you have the one from Son, where he has a chance and it's pushed out wide by Sanchez. So again, that could have been 3-2. And then Chelsea beat the offside trap again. Gallagher assists for Nico Jackson, taps it in. 3-2, 3-1 Chelsea. And then we play it again. Jackson gets his hat trick. And the Spurs also had a chance, like you said, the dire chance from the free kick with the header. So it was just an absolute crazy game. Chelsea deserved the win. Brilliant hat trick from Jackson. But like the first Chelsea player to get a hat trick against Spurs. But yeah, like that was just a hectic like game. What were your thoughts watching it?
There was always something happening. Always, every time, everywhere, and there was always something happening. Somebody was laying someone out. Somebody was getting red carded. They were people getting into it. You know, it's just a classic like get stuck in lads kind of game. And there's good football too. There was, you know, like it was just madness. I couldn't keep up with it. But yeah, this is what the Premier League is. It's mad crazy shit like this. Like this is you know, it's just box office shit. So but yeah, like it just the thing that drove me nuts is just a football fan watching. I'm like, it took you 80 minutes to figure out to go over the top when they're playing with the high line. That's a coaching thing. That's a coaching thing because I remember you bringing on a sub in that game. Was it Mudryk? Was it Mudryk? Yes, it was. And I remember, and it was late in the game, that sub as well. And you finally, after Mudryk came on, you finally just went over the top and then you scored a bunch. But I was like, fucking.
It was almost as if Poch couldn't believe we had this high line to exploit. It's as if he didn't want to use it.
Look at this. Look at this bit right here. Commentary. Of the 11 Spurs players that started this game, only 4 now remain on the field. Oh, what a remarkable statistic.
Yeah. Spurs, the 4-4 game right afterwards.
Oh my god. It's another crazy one.
Bro, this was a game where, like, if people thought the Spurs game was crazy, like this was absolutely like bonkers.
You couldn't have followed it up any more mad. Yeah, it was
absolutely bonkers. Erling Haaland, but a penalty that wasn't even really like deserved. It was like it was so soft.
It was a bit harsh. Yeah, you're right.
It was harsh that they won a penalty, but whatever, it is what it is. They score and then we respond immediately. It was the Cucurella pull where Haaland was pulling down Cucurella. But whatever.
I'll zoom in a bit more. It shows you see under the badges, it'll show when the goals were scored. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silva scored 2 minutes or 4 minutes later.
Yeah, Silva scored 2 minutes later. Brilliant header from Thiago Silva from the corner. And then Chelsea, we go ahead 37th minute from Raheem Sterling. And again, big game Sterling. He can't, that was an assist by Reece James. Reece James was actually really good in this game. Assist from, I remember this and Steve was doing Lazio. Chloe was with him when it was 2-1 Chelsea. Me and Chloe lost. Yeah. 2-1 for Chelsea. Second half starts. Chelsea again start off poorly in second half as we usually do. Erling Haaland goal, fares typical, but Chelsea's heads doesn't drop. We keep going, we keep pushing. 67th minute. City scored twice. 45th. That was the end of going into the end of the first half, and then in the 47th minute, Haaland. So that's like 3-1. Typically, that's game over. Our heads probably should have dropped. But we 3-2, I should say, sorry. But we didn't, we kept going. And Nico Jackson, 67th minute. People don't give, again, people do not give Jackson enough credit in this game.
No, he's very good
against Spurs.
Yeah.
And now he's bagging a goal against Man City. It was fair enough. Gallagher with the strike. Ederson spills it. Jackson's there. This is the second time this season Jackson's been there to tap in a ball that's been spilled by the goalkeeper. Haaland with his balls. Yeah. And at that point it's 3-3 in the game, right? At that point it's 3-3, and you're thinking anyone could win it. And then Rodri, big game Rodri from range, got a strike with his left foot. 4-3, 86th minute, game over. You're thinking. But Chelsea keep going, we keep pushing. Enzo is fouled, or not Enzo, sorry, Broja's fouled by Diaz in the box. And we get a penalty. Cole Palmer scores it, high pressure pen, 4-4. And then near the end of the game, Gusto has a chance and he blazes it over the bar near the edge of the box, or not the edge of the box, basically by the edge of the goal line. And you're thinking, I'm thinking, if that's Reece James, that's 5-3, we win the game. Fine margins. And again, you're looking at it, fair enough, 4-4 against City. You can't really blame anything.
Both teams will be disappointed to score 4 and not win.
Yeah, true. But
both teams would be disappointed.
The fact of, and that's what frustrated me and Lewis. We were all arguing about it. Why is it you're protecting the point against Bournemouth, but against City, you just go for it? Why are we going for it against City? That doesn't make. But yeah, that's performance of the season again, and full credit to the players, full credit to Poch as well for keep going and keep pushing.
Because I didn't think you'd win this. Nobody picked you to win the game or get a point. So you're right, and that's the thing that people misconstrue about Poch outers or people like me who have some questions at least about Eddie Howe. Is we'll give them credit when they do well and when they do poor. If it's mostly poor, going to be talking and kind of complaining a lot. But if it's a lot of good, we're going to speak on it, a lot of the good. So it is what it is. Yeah. Poor.
Rodgers was a screamer all the time. Yeah.
You know what this game showed me as well? It seemed like whenever Poch came up against managers who liked control of games, Pep, Emery with Villa, there are a few other teams I'm trying to think off the top of my head where they like to control. They're designed and built to control games. Sometimes Poch is good at disrupting that, like this game or the cup final, the semifinal that we'll get on to later. You played well in the game. It's just right, the fine margins. So
yeah, making it chaos, making it into a chaos game.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you're right. This game was a classic for sure.
Again, you're thinking, right? 4-4 against City. We battered Spurs.
International break.
Take that going forward now. But lo and behold, next game is Newcastle.
The international break.
Yeah, lose 4-1 against Newcastle. get sent off. Yeah, the international break as well doesn't help. But yeah, we lose 4-1 to Newcastle. Reece James gets sent off. We probably don't need to go into that because we already spoke on that. But
this is my favorite comment of the stream, by the way. I think it's such a great point. I think this is a great comment.
This is where, at that point in the season, where at times you can almost say, like, you know what, if Sanchez doesn't make that mistake and it's still 2-0 against Arsenal, we potentially win that game. If Gusto scores at the end, we win the City game. If Enzo scores his penalty against West Ham, we win the West Ham game. All these flying margins, if we had better finishing against Forest, we beat Forest. All these flying margins. But when you look into some of those games tactically, you see how bad it is. But yeah, moving on, we lose to we beat Brighton 3-2, even with a man sent off. I don't know who got sent off that game. Was it Gallagher?
Yeah.
Yes. Gallagher got sent off, and I remember
scored a good goal, and then you lost your head there. It was Brighton would have been pissed off that it was halftime, kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember that second half.
In that first half,
we played a lot better that second half without Gallagher. Yeah. Hey, hold that, Chloe. But yeah, we were good, really good that second half. But yeah, and big up Colwell as well, scoring against Brighton. He didn't celebrate.
By the way, real quick, here's like I just said about opponents, teams that managers that want to control play. De Zerbi, Pep, and Emery. You had good results against them for the most part, against those teams, and good performances as well.
And against teams that don't know how to control games, we play Man United.
Yes.
At Old Trafford, where we have a terrible record at Old Trafford. We lose 3 or 2.
That was the game after. Oh my God, yes. No fucking way. It was.
We lose 2-1 at Old Trafford. Because that was the game Chelsea fans were aghast. Man United, I think at that point, we were below them, but it was very close on points. And Chelsea fans were talking about, United fans were gaslighting and saying how terrible they are. Chelsea will beat us. And Chelsea fans were talking about, we'll batter you. I remember Ahmed talking the loudest. We're going to batter you flawless. Don't go running, yada, yada, yada. And I was the only one who said, we're not winning this game. We won't. I've seen Champions League winning Chelsea struggle against Man United. We're not winning this game. The game started. It's just stupid, hectic, end to end. And it didn't need to be. Like what you just said, Poch against teams that love control, he's able to disrupt that control.
But when he has to control games and coach them, that's the problem. And that's why you sucked against the teams, the bottom 10 teams.
Exactly. But Man United, they got a penalty early on. Bruno, he missed. So you're thinking, ooh, lifeline for Chelsea. We're still in the game.
That was a good goal from Palmer. I remember that. Nice goal.
But Scott McTominay, both goals were from headers. Both goals were from headers. Ball in from not even actually the first one. Ball in from Garnacho. There's a fumble in the box, and McTominay is able to smash it in. The first one wasn't a header. The second one was. But 1-0 Man United at that point, and I'm just thinking the timeline's going to be a fucking mess, man. The time is going to be, and I expected us to lose, so I'm not even angry, but it's going to be a fucking mess. 1-0 down, and then Cole Palmer scores, brilliant goal. Mudryk plays it in the Palmer. Palmer's trying to shoot, he's trying to shoot, and just brilliant. And at that point, 1-1, you take that into halftime, and you're thinking, maybe, but maybe it'll just end up just being a draw. But then in the second half, by the way, that game, Garnacho was all over Reece James.
Yes.
No one speaks on that. Garnacho was all over Reece James.
He was touching, bro.
That's the thing about Garnacho. He's not like a great player or anything, but because he has, as Flawless puts it, irrational confidence, he just keeps running and running and running.
Irrational.
And against Ben White, he had Ben White on strings. Ben White is a brilliant fullback, but because Garnacho will just pick up the ball and run at you, eventually it's chaos ball. Balling by Garnacho on the box. McTominay heads at home, 2-1 Man United, game done. And it's just, again, we just had a brilliant performance against Brighton. What a man down. And we lose to Man United in that manner.
Do you have any complaints about the lineup, by the way?
Cucurella, right back. Actually, no. I think, scroll down.
Oh, well, left back.
Yeah, no, scroll down, sorry. I think we...
Yeah, bench, yeah.
We had Reece had just come back, I think. So we had no fullback really. Well, I would have played Matson, obviously. But I would have played Matson at left back, obviously. But in terms of that lineup at that time, no, I don't necessarily have a problem with it.
This was the game that Lewis Poch out, yeah.
Yeah, that was when Lewis turned.
People turned on Poch after this, and rightfully so.
Rightfully so. That was the game where Poch should have been sacked in the tunnel.
I realized it after we beat you guys 4-1. I was like, that guy's not gonna make it. He's not good. So, and that was 2 games before this one. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a game where rightfully so. Anyone who was like still, he was Poch out, which fair enough if you still wanted to give him a bit more time. But like that was the game where you was actually bullying from.
Was this the worst of the season?
The worst result?
Just performance, result, anything. Was this like the low point?
Or
like that pissed you off the most, or however you want to kind of put it.
No, I expected us to lose. So me personally, no.
Was it worse than you thought it was gonna be, like performance-wise? Like, did you ever think that you'd get touched up like that? Or
no? I expected us to lose. I said at best it'd be a point. So no, that game went how I expected us to go. I don't think I've been really angry about games this season.
Yeah.
Have I been?
Now, what about this one? Did you expect to lose this one?
No. I didn't expect us to lose.
This was the following. This was the Sunday. That Man United one was on like a Wednesday or something. This was on the Sunday or something.
Yeah, Lambda, like that Everton midfield is like what Guehi, Garner, and Doucouré up against
and Jack Harrison,
like Gallagher. Caicedo wasn't still playing at the best at that time. Enzo playing in a 10. Broha was playing up top. Yeah.
And again, this is a manager. This is a manager about, like I said, in games that managers don't want to control games, you struggle.
Yeah, we struggled to break them down, and like Broha got bullied. This is not the game to put Broha in. He got bullied. Yeah, it was just absolute like another chaos game from Chelsea. Just pure
that
chaos
lack
game.
Of control.
Yeah, and they fully deserved it. And this is where Sanchez got injured. He was at a loss. Yeah, this is the game Sanchez got injured though, and Petrovic came in, and we haven't looked back since.
Yeah, and then after that, you beat Sheffield United 2-0. I don't think you played well in the game. If I remember correctly, you didn't play really that well. I think it was 0-0 at halftime. Yeah, it was 54-61.
That was a game of individual brilliance.
Yes.
You were poor that game.
Yeah, so that's again another complaint. But this is where Poch inners or people who don't look at the coaching enough will be like, got the win, cool. Poch, yeah, like He'll get credit for the win. I'm fine with that, but like you need to look at how was the game. Look at the game. It was a poorly coached game from you guys, but your individual brilliance got the
which I don't mind on occasion. Like you're not always gonna have a 10 out of 10 game.
Exactly,
So on occasion,
it happens with Man City and Real Madrid. All the
I don't
time.
mind the top side playing a lesser side and struggling, and
because it
takes a moments of individual brilliance to win. I don't mind that on occasion, but it can't happen all the time, and it's happened too many times this season.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah,
by the way, this first half of the season where games we were struggling, this is like people talk about how great we've been in the second half of the season, but that's also coincided with Cole Palmer's. I'm not going to call it a purple patch, but when Cole Palmer really kicked off.
I say purple patch when I know the player is poor. So, for example, Almiron.
Yeah.
Almiron went on a purple patch because usually he's not good.
Yeah, it's not a purple, but you know what I mean? Cole Palmer really kicked off. That's why we looked amazing in the second half of the season.
Terrific form, yeah.
But without Cole Palmer, and I know like we have him, so I can't say without him, but he was outperforming everything. So it made everything easier for us, not tactically.
You could rely on a goal from him almost every game or an assist, and pretty much always a good performance with some exceptions here and there.
Yeah. But next game?
Yeah, next game after the 2-0 Sheffield was the Carabao. I mean, fucking hell. That was, again, you guys, poorly coached game, but we made a mistake late. We did what I wanted us to do. I said sit back, soak up pressure, just fucking get it done, and then so that you said earlier is a lifeline for Poch, and yeah, basically. Then the Wolves game happened. Again, you guys played like ass, and you got beat, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we did. And we had, that was the game where, you know that meme of Sterling, that was the game where Sterling could have squared it to Jackson when we were at 0-0. Wolves try to play out of the back.
City.
They don't. Wolves try to play out of the back. They don't. They play it to a Wolves player. Sterling nicks it off him, and we're running through. Sterling could square it to Jackson or Palmer. He doesn't. He tries to go through himself. Keeper saves it, and it comes back out to Gallagher. Like, it's just so poor. Like, again, fine margins. If Sterling squares it, we go 1-0 up. We probably win the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lamina and Doherty score, and Cuckoo scores to make it 2-1. But like we were
too
just
late. Yeah.
And this was this was Iraola.
By the way, this is again, like I keep going back to it. They don't play. Wolves play. They're designed to play on the break.
Who's the manager?
Gary O'Neill.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Iraola. Yeah, O'Neill. This is
Iraola's one where he likes to control games, possession based.
Iraola manages Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
Or Forest.
Bournemouth.
Okay. Because again, this is the game where people were really starting to notice Gary O'Neill.
Oh, they were awesome. Awesome on the break. And they hustled you off the ball. They put in a very good performance, and you were poor. Very poor. And yeah, that happened. You scraped by Palace when they had Hodgson. That says a lot. Yeah. This was again another game where the team they are designed to play on the break. You went up 3-0, but then it got scary after the third goal, right?
Steve, that game went how the first game against them should have gone. It should have been close.
Yeah,
man.
I remember that last 20, 25 minutes. The crosses left, right. Petrovic stood on his head. You were getting last-second clearances. It was like Luton scored that second goal. I was like, they have to score somehow, surely. And they should have. But I think Petrovic made a phenomenal save late in the game. I
think that was the game where
he was pissed.
Jackson check the lineup. Jackson and Broha both started. I think Jackson played out wide to that game.
This was Luton's. They went with 3-4-2-1, which was the best tactical tweak that Edwards made because they played 3-5-2 to begin, but this was during their evolution of 3-4. This is when they were like, "Fuck it, we're going for it," kind of thing. But yeah,
Jackson played out wide. Yeah, and again, the goal we scored, not Palmer, Madueke's. Palmer's first goal was individual brilliance. Madueke's second goal, or Chelsea's second goal for Madueke, individual brilliance. Cole Palmer to make it 3-0, individual brilliance. Individual brilliance. There's no and I was saying at that point in the season, the goals we've scored, there's been no real consistent, like, tactical plan. It's all been individual brilliance, but no one wanted to listen to me. We conceded from a set piece, brilliant goal from Ross Barkley to make it 3-1.
Yeah, it was.
In the second half. And then we're under pressure, like you're saying, they're spamming crosses in.
And they were good crosses as well. They were good crosses. They were meeting their target, or they were forcing the center back to make a brazy clearance, or Gilchrist had to make a great, like, they were forcing you. They were pushing the fucking
Luton have a free kick, and it's basically played off the line or saved off the line by Petrovic. There's another ball within in the box. Petrovic again saves it off the line, but it's headed in by Adebayo, and we're just like Gilchrist, a brilliant tackle near the end, but we're just under pressure constantly the whole game, or near the end of the game, but crosses in the box, and that's another game where we should be comfortable after, but we're not. Next game, Preston 4-0 in the cup. Like, really, who cares? They're a championship side. Or they're a League One side. Is it League One?
No, not championship.
Yeah, they're a championship side.
They've been championship for like 20 straight years or something. I saw that the other day. Been in there for a while. In the middle, this was again, like, holy fuck. This was the game that Borough had 12 players missing or something.
Steve, you know how bad this is? Middlesbrough had so many injuries in this game.
I'll pull it up, actually. SofaScore tells me the injuries at the time.
They had so many injuries in this game. They started this game, and I think their striker got injured during the first half.
Yes.
And they outclassed us. Outclassed tactically. And I remember saying this to people. Poch, like, you got outclassed by Michael. I remember I started saying after that game, give me Michael Carrick.
Carrick.
And this is why McKenna, I'm not going to disrespect him. Like,
eight injuries.
8, yeah. How are you getting out? I remember watching that game. How are you getting outclassed like that? It's poor. You should not be getting out. With all due respect, you should not be getting outclassed like that. We had a strong lineup for that game. Petrovic in goal.
They made 2 subs the whole game, by the way.
Yeah, we had.
And they made it in the 5th minute for Emmanuel Latte-Low. That's the striker that got subbed out. And then Clark came on for Alex Bangura in the 20th minute. They made no subs the rest of the game.
We had a strong lineup. Petrovic in goal. A back 4 of Colwell, Silva, De Sassi, Gusto, Caicedo, Gallagher, and Double Pivot, Enzo and 10. Like, that was a strong lineup for Chelsea.
Very strong.
Palmer playing as a striker, like, that was stupid from Poch. Even though Palmer had like 3 chances and stuff, where Palmer had chances, he probably could have got a hat-trick on a different day. But I remember people after the game scapegoating Palmer when I was telling people, how are you blaming Palmer? We got outclassed. Palmer would have again saved us from individual brilliance FC. We got outclassed that game. It was so bad to watch. So bad. Like, Warrior, are you in the chat? The first goalkeeper, was out as well. This game I started being Poch out. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people turned after this. Yeah, that y'all were incredibly poor.
14 injuries and 2 injuries in game.
Yeah,
Palmer was a terrible miss. Oh, by the way, as well, right? That was a game where Carrick came out and said they targeted Levi Colwell.
Yes. Just like, you know what it is? The one thing our managers have in common, or your former manager now, is that he tried to play a center back at left back and it got exposed time after time after time. And it took too long for them to realize at times, but yeah. And then y'all played what's it called? The Villa draw. You should have won that. You actually didn't play terribly that game. But I remember the last 20 minutes again, second half, Villa should have scored probably. They were good that last 20 minutes. They were threatening. But it went to a replay. And then you got hammered by Liverpool. I mean, I expected this, to be fair. I did expect this.
Yeah, we beat Fulham 1-0.
Yeah.
Which fair enough.
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed out on 2 games. Yeah.
We beat Fulham 1-0, and then second leg against Middlesbrough. Bro, that game was like 6-1. I know Chelsea fans are happy and stuff, and then probably made up for the first leg. But I remember anyone like Warrior, like tell me if I'm wrong, like 10 minutes or so into that game.
You're shaky.
Middlesbrough had a chance. A ball flashed across the box. There was no one there to tap it home. If they score, that's 1-0, 2-0 down on the aggregate. We're not winning. Like, it's fine margins.
You're not advancing. You couldn't. Yeah, you might have gotten a draw, but that wouldn't have been enough. Yeah.
And that game could have got Poch sacked, or at least could have started the pressure to get him sacked. Like, again, Poch, like, we're so lucky it's Mills. Thank you, Warrior. Because no one talks about that moment. He's the only one who brought it up on Lewis' stream. But yeah, man. But yeah, we battered Middlesbrough. Fair enough. They're injury riddled championship, so we should be battering them. And then
they tried to go for it as well. They tried to go for it.
Yeah, they did. Villa 0-0 in the FA Cup, which resulted in the replay. And then Liverpool 4-0. Battered that game. That game 4-0.
Jota.
That game went how the first game of the season should have gone, where we should have been 2-0 down early, and then the floodgates should have opened from Liverpool.
Yeah.
So that went how the first game of the season went, but we got lucky that it was offside the second goal. But this is awful. Jota just like dribbling through our box with defenders in it. Connor Bradley had a brilliant game at fullback. We let Szoboszlai score. We let Nunez score. We were just awful that game. And Nkunku comes off the bench and he's playing as a target man striker. What we doing? It's just we're playing a high line against Liverpool. We're playing a high line. Steve, do you want to know who our back four is? Bring up. We played a high line. We played that back four in a high line. You're muted.
That's poor.
Disasi, who's 200 pounds. Silva, who's geriatric. And Badiashile, who can't shift against Liverpool.
At their fucking ground.
Battered.
Yeah.
And that's like 3-4 weeks before the cup final as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm not talking about this game anymore. We move on. There's nothing more I can say. Nkunku scored, but who cares? And so next game is we lose 4-2 to Wolves. Oh, this was his hat-trick, wasn't it?
Cunha. I like Cunha, to be fair. He was on smoke that fucking day.
This is the Cunha hat-trick. Yeah. And Nkunku got injured this game, I think. No, he didn't, sorry. But yeah, like this is just like
they tore you apart. Coaching wise, terrible. Bad performances.
Brilliant assist though for the first goal by Moises Caicedo.
Yeah,
but like he got picked. He got picked for again the first goal the goal we conceded. Moises Caicedo's left on an Steve, you remember we've been talking about this. Moises Caicedo left on an island in midfield by himself.
Yeah.
that first goal or the 1-1 is because Caicedo's left on his own in midfield.
Yeah.
We're not making it. I wish Chloe was here, man. Chloe, come back here.
This game, the Villa 3-1, though, in the replay, you did do very well in that game, to be fair. That was a good coaching display. Again, it was against a manager that likes control usually. I'm just trying to speed things up a tad bit. But, yeah, anything about the Villa game?
Yeah, but, like, I don't know if Villa at that point where that was February. I don't know if they were
They were in their poor patch.
Yeah. I'm thinking because we just easily battered them, and we had no right to really, but they were in a poor run of form. And again, this was like I think we were picking up a bit of a purple patch at this point.
Your good form coincided with their poor form.
Yeah, and again, this is why I tell people, because people are getting gassed about our last 5 games. This is why I tell people we've had this numerous times this season. We beat Villa, we beat Palace 3-1, Man City draw. We've done this. Or sorry, go back, Steve.
So around this time, they drew with Sheffield United, which is embarrassing. They lost to Man United 3-2. That's embarrassing. Burnley put in a hell of I remember watching this game. They put a hell of a performance, and they barely beat them. Didn't play really well versus Borough. 0-0 with Everton. 0-0 with you guys.
Yeah.
We smashed, and our away record sucks. They did smash up Sheffield United, but still. And then, 3-1. They went on to lose 2-1, 2-1. They kind of picked it up.
Go back. Sorry. No, like go back to the. Go. Yeah.
Right here.
No, like go back.
Up or down?
No, go back. Go out. Go back.
Oh, the Chelsea one. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is us going on a bit of a purple patch. We beat Villa 3-1, beat Palace 3-1, draw against Man City.
You were brilliant that game defensively. Outstanding.
Again, Steve, that is our purple patch. So we've been on these purple patches this season. But yeah, that game against
by the way, was incredible this game. Absolutely incredible. Best center back performance I've seen this year.
We should have. That's like we outclassed City. Not even that. Wait, was this? Yeah. We.
You made subs late in the game that kind of messed things up.
We were brilliant. Well, not even that. I don't have a problem with Poch's subs. I think it was a brilliant game from the players and from Poch. It's just that Rodri popped up with a goal. That's it. But we were brilliant in this game.
Gusto was so good that game as well.
Yes, he was. Jackson, unfortunately, fumbled.
Gallagher was very good. Like, you guys put in
Jackson, unfortunately, fumbled and couldn't get the ball out of his feet. But, again, Jackson assist. I remember, because Jackson fumbled in front of goal from a possible Gusto assist. But later, he's the one that provided the goal for Sterling. And that's why I got pissed at Jackson in our last, I don't know what game it was. Maybe it was a semi-final against City, where he had another chance to do that for Sterling, and he fucked it up.
Yeah. 100%. The final was just
Colin show. Yeah, it was. I remember that warrior. And then you've ducked every Colin show since. Yeah, we outclassed City. The sassy pocketed Holland, but it was just Rodri popping up with a goal. Unfortunately, like I don't blame. Again, people talking about Poch and the good things he's done. I don't blame him for any of the City games. He outclassed Pep.
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
No, I did. And Pep likes control. Like I said, that pattern kind of continued. But and then in terms of Carabao Cup final, you guys played well, and then extra time, that's where Poch fucked it. Horrible.
Yeah. What annoyed me about that was, again, like I had no problem, even with this extra time and stuff. I still don't even though it was his fault in extra time, the player should have won it in 90. So I wasn't going to give Poch any blame. But he came out and said, we played for pens. If Poch hadn't said that, I don't think anyone would really have been angry at him. But because he said we played for pens and we lost in extra time, everyone blamed him. When, in my opinion, I don't think he should have got much blame. But he said we played for pens, and everyone turned like.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, Chloe, you see, I'm not blaming Pot for everything, but you know.
FA Cup game, played Leeds. I think y'all played well in that game, reasonably. Sinistero was very good. Or,
we did, yeah, we did.
I'm sorry, Archie Gray stood out for me in this game.
Yeah, he did. We did enough to win the game.
Yeah. This was a bad one.
The Sassy was at right back in the game. Or not the Sassy, sorry. Gilchrist was at right back, I think. Or no, actually, bring up the lineup for that game. Did Gilchrist play left back, or am I crazy?
Yep.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
This is the manager you want to keep. Oh my god.
The Leeds game actually made me angry because I was tired of getting games by luck.
This is the game, by the way, the first game Mudryk played as a 10 and he cooked. And Chelsea fans tried doing think pieces that Mudryk's a number 10. Shut up, man.
Yeah, Gray was so good. And Mateo Joseph finished. Now, Gray is sick, yo. Gray is sick. He's fucking sick, yo. But yeah, so that game was a bit that was interesting. Then you drew a Brentford 2-2.
That was just
another horrible coaching display. You beat us 3-2. We fucking shot ourselves in the foot. That was bad. So pissed.
We beat Newcastle 3-2. And then we played we beat Leicester 4-2 in the FA Cup. Was that quarterfinal? Semi-final? Quarterfinal, sorry.
Quarter.
In the FA Cup semi-final. And at that point we're thinking, 2 late goals sends us through. And then after that we play
Burnley. A 2-2 draw with Burnley.
Oh yeah, this was the Burnley game where they had a man sent off, didn't they? I remember this game. It was annoying. They had this is a game where I don't blame Poch. I blame the players. 10-man Burnley. They're a man down.
Y'all created chances.
Yeah, we're 2-1 up. We're 1-0 up. You have enough to win this game. I don't blame Poch. You have to see the game out yourselves. So I don't care. But again, we start off poorly in the second half. Josh Cullen wonder goal and another goal from a set
beautiful
piece.
Team goal. I hope to see that at Bayern Company. I want those.
It is a beautiful team goal, but again,
you had some errors
early in the second half. So I don't care about how the goal looked. It's the fact that we still conceded. That's what, and I remember saying that to Marshall on casually, and Marshall was trying to blame Petrovic for the equalizer, the second goal, like the 2-2, the equalizer, when I was saying that we've conceded from set pieces all season. I'm not going to blame Petrovic for this instance.
When he made a mistake, Petrovic, but that's not the root error.
Yeah, because the next game, it would have been another centre back who made a mistake. I'm not going to blame him, Oh, by the way, for us to make it 2-1, like Sterling came off the bench. So us making it 2-1, that was a brilliant flick from Sterling for Palmer to score. If Sterling had started this game, I believe we would have won just because he loves playing against relegation sides. Speaking of relegation sides, Chelsea 4, Man United 3.
This is a madness of a game. Madness.
This is such a crazy game. I remember thinking this game after the game, saying we won 4-3, but if Man United won 4-3, Steve, after watching that game, would you have been surprised?
No, it was a draw.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. It was so dumb and back and forth.
Palmer was just like, fuck it, we ain't losing, bro.
Yeah. Gallagher scores the opener out of chaos in the box.
Good point, Barrio, by the way. Very good point.
Well, 2 goals from Palmer now, 2 most important, yeah. But I'm happy for Gallagher. Like, Gallagher scored, I'm happy for him. And then we get a penalty. Anthony bringing down Marco Correa. Palmer scores, makes it 2-0. Chelsea bottle a 2-0 lead.
I knew as soon as they scored the first one, I said, Man United are going to score again, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'm thinking 2-0. I'm just waiting for Man United to get back into the game. Caicedo gives the ball away to a ball away. Man United counter. Garnacho scores, makes it 2-1. And then the ball played in the box, and Bruno heads it home back post. Steve, if you remember this game, right? It's still from this ball whipped in from Dallo on the left-hand side on the edge of the box. And if you freeze frame it, Cucurella's at right back. If you freeze frame it, Cucurella's at right back. You have... Hold on, I'm trying to find the freeze frame. You have Cucurella at right back. The Sassy's at right centre back. Gusto's at left centre back. And Badiashil's at left back.
Yeah.
Like, no one's picking up. No one notices. Even Højlund is right there as well, who could have scored that goal. Like, no one notices Bruno. And it's just so poor defensively.
Oh, yeah, it's wide open. Yeah, he just finished it easy.
So poor defensively again. Like, and then second half comes, Man United counter, brilliant ball from Travella, from Anthony. Garnacho scores, makes it 3-2. Like, and then Chelsea keep going. Madueke runs past Dalot, brings him down. It's another penalty.
Yep.
This is just a complete mess. This game is just honestly a complete mess. Palmer scores, makes it 3-3. And then Chelsea go for it again at the end. Brilliant from Enzo to take the corner quickly. And Palmer scores hat-trick. Like, I don't know why we've only gone for games twice all season. We've only pushed late for games twice all season. Man City and Man United. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But whatever. 4-3, we win the game.
Then you drew at Sheffield United the game after. And it was just like, bro. And you are bad in this game.
This game was on Poch. The Burnley game was on the players. This game's on Poch. This game's massively on Poch.
It was fucking dreadful from you guys. Gallagher right. Fucking left wing, man. Jesus Christ Almighty. Disasi right back.
Gallagher playing left wing. Oh my god. But we score. Thiago Silva from a header, or not from a header, from a corner. Like, he's able to just like slide past it in. So fair enough. The first time really we've capitalized. Well, we scored a few from the corners, but it's probably the sort of corner Chelsea would have conceded, to be fair. And then is a Hammer who plays a ball in for Bogle. Yeah, who plays the ball in for Bogle.
Good ball.
To make it 1-1. Like, brilliant assist, to be fair.
Yeah, very good. I like Hammer a lot, man.
We've conceded goals like that all season. Chelsea's second half starts. Madueke scores. It's a brilliant goal for Madueke, to be fair. And this is him really kicking on in terms of confidence into the game, or into the season, to close the season. But ultimately, it's not enough, and we draw 2-2. This game is on Poch because just tactically, we're all over the place. We don't do enough. So yeah, like,
this was only a month ago, by the way. Only a month ago.
Thank you. So this is why, where I say, I'm not blaming everything on Poch. I've blamed the Burnley game on the players. We should have won that game, but this one was Poch.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're 2-1 in this game, winning comfortably. Poch makes substitutions. He brings on Badiashile and Cassidy for height, and then we end up losing the ball because of a knockdown to McBurney to score a tap-in. Anyways, next game is...
you beat up Everton 6-0.
Everton 6-0, Cole Palmer hat-trick, back-to-back hat-tricks at the Bridge. I don't really need to go into that, to be fair. And then after that, we play Man City in the Carabao Cup semi-final at Wembley. This is Man City right after they had played 120 minutes
Real Madrid
plus penalties against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Was it? No, not Bernabeu, at the Etihad.
Yeah.
So, they're already tired and jet lagged. And I was thinking going into this game, let's take advantage of City being tired and try and win this game. This is a game where all the love Jackson had built up by the Chelsea fans, he ruined it by the misses he had in this game.
Yeah.
Honestly, any one of them he takes, we win. The chance he had where he rounded Ederson, and then instead of taking the shot, he plays it back. And I kind of understand why he comes back, because Stones and Walker were running onto the line. I'm seeing the ball now. We're running onto the line, so I kind of understand why he pulled it back. But he made the wrong pass to Palmer. Oh, and by the way, people talking about how poor Enzo's been. Enzo dominated this game from midfield.
He's very good.
And if Jackson scores that chance, it's because of Enzo's assist. But no one wants to talk about Enzo. He's been poor all season. Yeah, it's just so frustrating. And we hold on. This game's going into extra time. And then Bernardo Silva, 84th minute.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating because we deserved more from this game. We deserved to win this game.
More on the players, yeah.
Yeah. It's on the player. Again, we're being honest.
Yeah.
Poch, perfect game from Poch. He didn't do anything wrong. We had the chances to win this game. So it's on the players.
And then everything was shit in this game.
Five
love.
So again, all the good things Poch has done, you're thinking Man City, third time we played Man City, third time we deserve to beat Man City. We play Arsenal and we just get battered. I don't want to speak on this game. Let's move on. Do I actually you speak on this game?
Dude, you were just fucking shit. And Arsenal took a lot of their chances and should have scored more, honestly. It was crazy.
Shut up.
Yeah, you looked like a League One team. It was crazy. And then you drew a Villa 2-2.
Gilchrist at the right back at the Emirates.
Yeah, it's fucked.
I was thinking, when I saw the lineup, Gilchrist starting, I was thinking, you know what? We might lose, but at least Gilchrist is going to injure an Arsenal player. He didn't even do that.
Now, here is the infamous, the much-cited 5 games of improvement. So let's break it down. Let's start off with game 1. You beat up on Spurs.
The 5 games where Poch should have saved his job. So Chelsea 2, Spurs 0.
Y'all played pretty good. Y'all played pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie.
We did. To be fair.
So this is yeah.
We were all over Spurs.
Oh yeah,
Jackson
I messaged you on WhatsApp.
Game.
I remember messaging you on WhatsApp, and I was like, people were saying all of your players played well, and you were like, yeah.
Yeah, we were all over. Mudryk early on played a slip ball into Jackson. Jackson nutmegged Vicario, and again, Van de Ven, his recovery pace, was able to clear it. A Gallagher assist for the first goal from Chalobah for free kick. We're all over Spurs, all over them. Spurs can barely string a pass together. We're dominating them. And again, this comes a few games just from being battered by Arsenal. So it's so polarizing. So you're
Possession
telling me
based manager as well.
we can dominate Man City. We lose to Arsenal, but yeah, we can also beat Spurs. And this was a Spurs team. I think Spurs were still. Was this? This was before Spurs started playing badly.
No, they've been playing badly since like January, I'd say.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, my bad then.
Performance-wise, they've been bad for a while.
Okay, fair enough. My bad. But yeah, my bad. But yeah, and then second half we have brilliant free kick from Cole Palmer. Hits off the post crossbar. Hits off the post. Lucario goes flying to save it, and then Jackson nods it home. That's the second time this season that he has been there to like rebound a shot. And yeah, we win the game comfortably. Like, so game one of his 5 games to save his job, and fair enough. I'll give that like an A+. Fair enough, masterclass. Second game, a poor West Ham team.
Yeah,
if we're going to be honest, it's a poor West Ham team, and we win 5-0.
Bowen hit the post or crossbar like 3 times, I think, as well.
Is this the game where they're arguing about the penalty?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah, that's happened a few games this season.
Yeah, I was about to say. You all scored all your goals from. Yeah, you didn't score any penalties, so yeah, you clocked them here.
We battered them. Madueke scored.
Kudus was good. Kudus was their lone.
Oh no, Kudus is always on job. He's always on job. But yeah, Madueke scored. Palmer scored. A brace from Jackson. Gallagher scored as well. Everyone got to eat except Palmer. Right? Sorry, except Mudryk. Everyone got to eat except Mudryk. Yeah. And Mudryk played well in this game as well, bro. Mudryk could have got like 2 assists. Yeah. So this game
A-.
I mean, it's a poor West Ham team, but again, it's a London derby. You can only beat what's in front of you. So I'll give him an A.
Cool.
Next game,
Forest.
It is Nottingham Forest. We're looking shaky. We're looking shaky in this game, and up off the bench is captain, leader, legend, Reece James. Bro, listen, people are happy that we won. Are happy about Reece James. We don't win this game if he doesn't come off if he's not fit. By the way,
yeah.
Because Gusto, I rate Gusto, but he's not playing that ball Reece James played.
Yeah, you're right.
So again, this game, individual brilliance. We didn't win this game because of Poch. We won this game because
it wasn't a great, yeah.
So this 5 game unbeaten run. Is it 5 games really?
No, it was on results, but like coaching wise, y'all got outplayed for the majority of that game.
Particularly that first half. Bro, we allowed Callum Hudson-Odoi the freedom on that left-hand side. Callum didn't play well, really, but he was just allowed to run, cut inside, and shoot all game.
Yeah.
Go to Brighton. We win 2-1. But again, this is like what you said, Steve. Against teams that love control, we're able to ensue our chaos.
And get some results.
And that's exactly what we did. Reece James getting sent off. Hey, hold that, Chelsea fans. Reece James getting sent off. But yeah, we win deservedly so.
Big up CNAC, by the way, real quick. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Much love. Thank you, bro. A lot. I appreciate it. Donations are not required. Bro, just thank you. I appreciate it. Very kind of you, bro. But yeah, Steve-O, who are Newcastle's targets this summer? We're looking at Mamardashvili for goalkeeper, and I would be fucking psyched if we got him. I would be so happy because I think this guy has top 5 in the world goalkeeper potential in him. I think he is brilliant, especially for 40 million euros. It's a steal, and I want us to do that 1,000%. We're also looking at Tosin and Lloyd Kelly. And also there was another name that I'm forgetting, but yeah. So and big up Prime. Is Amarim going to be our Chelsea's next coach?
I think it's gonna be Amarim or um Amarim or Deserby.
I think it'll be Deserby personally. I think
But yeah,
Amarim stay for the year. But yeah.
Warrior said I knew Prime would be happy. Hold that. Listen, like, you know, people tried to abuse me when he got the assist against Forest. People were tweeting me. I got added in the Sarcasm City group chat. So, you know,
And then
but
Bournemouth,
no,
final game of the year.
yeah, but
Did
yeah,
you play
people were
well in
angry.
this game? I have no idea how you played in this game.
Yeah. Let me just quickly say about the Brighton game where we got sent off. People were angry about that game, but I wasn't because we did enough to win the game and see it out. Which any other point this season, Steve, let me tell you, 2-1 down, or we're winning 2-1, but we're a man down.
Oh.
Chelsea this season, do we win the game with say 10, 15 minutes left? Do you think we win the game?
No, because you fucked up multiple times in that department.
Exactly. So that's why I didn't care about the red card because we did enough to see this game out. So yeah, but final game of the season was Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
2-1. Secure European football. Great opening goal by Moises Caicedo, by the way, from the halfway line. Outside, I think just outside RD. Pause, no did he? Yeah, but great goal by Moises Caicedo, a contender for goal of the season, probably.
I haven't even seen the goal yet. I gotta look then. Shit. All right.
No, you should. Jackson plays Sterling through on goal, like beats offside trap. The goalkeeper comes out sliding, clears the ball basically into the path of Caicedo, and he just hits it from the halfway line, basically on the halfway line, like halfway. What do you call it? The kickoff spot, and scores.
Yeah, the halfway line.
Yeah.
Shit,
And then we score in the second half in the 48th minute, Raheem Sterling. But apparently Ahmed needs to win his war and sell Sterling, whatever. But yeah, and then we concede an own goal like a minute later, Badia show. But whatever, we did enough. We secured Champions League football, and this game was like chaos as well, bro.
Was the performance good?
Yeah, it was enough to win the game. Like, it wasn't probably as bad as I wouldn't say it's as bad as say not Bright. I wouldn't say it's as bad as Nottingham Forest probably, but still we did enough to win the game. That's all I care about. But yeah, that's overall. That's the season.
Yeah.
Chelsea. Caicedo goal was insane. Yeah, it was. Those refs are horrible at blind. Yeah.
And then Poch got.
Reece James is not being the work from home captain allegations. Hey, if I said he's a work from home captain, I'd get abuse. But But yeah, that's enough. Any questions on Chelsea, or?
So where do you? Yeah, in terms of So overall of your season, who was your player of the year in your opinion?
Player of the year.
Palmer, obviously. I'm assuming.
Yeah, Palmer's obvious, but honorable mentions. Malo Gusto. People know how I rate him. You're off Reece Obies, but if I called him Reece Obies, you'd call me a dickhead. Okay, cool. Whatever you say, Cena. But no. Player of the season. Gusto gets a shout. Jackson as well. Bro, people don't give credit to how important Jackson's been. Just having him as a presence up top, the fact that he can run the camera. He's Petrovic again. I think he's good enough to be our number one going into next season as well. So yeah, those are my like 3 or 4 choices for player of the season. If you're not talking about Palmer, if you're talking about disappointments of the season, I don't really know. I don't think it's fair to say. Well, no, disappointment of the calories. Okay, I'm knowing that down. No, I don't think it's fair to say
Gallagher, by the way, I'll give a shout to Gallagher for exceeding my expectations. I think he had a 7 out of 10 season, and I rate him a 5 out of 10 player, 5.5.
Yeah,
so he scored some good goals.
I would say disappointment of the season is Mauricio Pochettino.
See, I wouldn't because I didn't rate him. My disappointment would probably be probably.
I mean, you say no, but did you expect Chelsea to be this bad though?
I said 7th for y'all.
No, but did you expect Chelsea to be this bad?
Not this bad.
Exactly. That's why it's a disappointment from Poch.
I suppose so, yeah. Probably if I'm honest, probably Mudryk, just because I thought he could step up, but then again, I don't know.
I think Mudryk's been okay. I think he's been fine. I think he's been okay. But yeah, who was your player?
I think he could be more than okay.
So. Yeah, but again, it's with a better coach, we'll see. But who's been your player of the season?
For Chelsea, for Newcastle, Anthony Gordon.
Anthony Gordon. Yeah, I was gonna say Gordon scored in a lot of big games for you guys this season.
He scored. He's the first player in Premier League history to score against the top 5 out of the top 6. We're not a top 6 team right now. He scored in every single top 6 home game at St. James's Park. He's the only player in Prem history to do that. So every time we played Liverpool, he scored the only goal. Played against Arsenal, he scored the only goal. Against Man United, he scored the only goal. 2 of those 3 were 1-0 wins. Against Chelsea, he scored. Against Spurs, he scored. And he scored against Man City as well. So,
who was your disappointment, Steve?
Trippier for sure. But he dropped off for sure, and I'd be looking to move him on personally, or maybe back up. But I think he's dropped off, and I don't know if there's a way back up to what Trippier was. He's had a great career. He at least got a medal at. He at least played at Atletico Madrid and won the La Liga. So he's a brilliant player, but yeah, I do think he's in a decline. But yeah, I was disappointed personally with Trippier, particularly from December onwards. Disappointed with Barnes because he just couldn't stay fit, but Leicester fans said to me that like he struggles with that, so I'm not really disappointed. And he did all right. Disappointed that Pope got injured, obviously, but yeah, I can't say Eddie Howe would be my disappointment of the season. No. There was some times where I was disappointed in him, but not overall. So, but yeah, for me, reload next year. I don't mind if Eddie stays again. That's cool. As long as we got to improve defensively. I want a center back. I want in 2 center backs. I don't mind if we pick up Tosin and Lloyd Kelly on freeze, but bring me like a Schlotterbeck. For me, bring me a Schlotterbeck from Dortmund if we can do that. Bring in I'll take another one of your youth players, I guess, because they're doing all right for us.
Gilchrist. Wait, hold on.
No, not Gilchrist.
Oh, no.
Livramento and Lewis Hall are way more talented than Gilchrist, to be fair.
True. Sinak says, I want to fix the spine. I want to fix the spine. I want a better goalkeeper. Fix the spine this summer. We go really for the Diogo Costa or Marmadashvili are my picks personally.
Mamardashvili.
More Costa because it was ball playing skills for possession. Yeah, I hear it. We might actually get one of them. We might get Costa.
Costa is cold. Yeah.
Victor Osimhen, one or two center backs, Euro Homos. Davis left back, goalkeeper Delgo Costa with potential MLS coach role. We get top four, maybe even more. I don't think we're getting Homos.
By the way,
well, I don't think we're getting Homos, but Euro, a goalkeeper, Osimhen, a left back. That's like 200 mil ish, maybe 250.
I think he's staying. By the way,
I
think he's staying. I thought he was.
Yeah,
he's staying. Apparently,
probably is staying. Which I'll be okay with. What's this? More. I think inconsistency killed you, Steve, this season.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, and I think same thing for you guys, but to even greater extent, I believe. But yeah, it's one of it's overall. I think Newcastle probably met expectations or maybe slightly underdelivered. I think you guys fell short by some distance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the mainstream view, what kind of everyone was thinking. I didn't rate Poch. I didn't think it was an amazing appointment, but even then, he still fell short.
Exactly.
Bayern will pay those wages. Yes, we got money in the bank.
With Newcastle and Chelsea finished where we did because of the quality in our squad. Newcastle finished where they did because of your lack of squad depth.
Yeah. And Eddie got the most out of our attack as well. 84 goals with Isak and Wilson sometimes missing large parts. That is impressive. And Barnes being injured for large parts, that's impressive.
Who does Marmadashvili play for?
Valencia. And Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, I'll watch him during the Euros then.
Bro, he's awesome.
You should do a Euros prediction with Prime and Steve Chlo next show.
Yeah, I'll pattern something up for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna do the summer content for sure. But we still got some watch alongs, people. I'll be on vacation again for 3 days, but I'm back Monday. So, but yeah, Prime, thanks for doing the season review with me. It was a crazy season, both of us. But yeah, thanks for coming up, bro. We'll do it,
guys. Thanks for listening to us waffle for 3 hours.
3.5 hours, yeah. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. I don't have, like I said, I don't have anything coming up tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday. Monday, I might be back for a Bundesliga 2 relegation playoff. Tuesday, I think there's a game on that I wanted to do. I just forget which one it is. I'd have to double check that. No, actually. No. Monday, I'm doing Dusseldorf Bochum in the Bundesliga relegation playoff. And then Tuesday, I'm doing the 2 Bundesliga playoff between Wien Wiesbaden and SSV Ulm or SSV Jan Regensburg. Wednesday, Olympiacos Fiorentina Conference League final. Thursday, Saint-Etienne versus the winner of Rodez or Metz. Or sorry, the Metz are going to play either Saint-Etienne and Rodez in the Ligue 1 barrage in the relegation playoff for that. Friday, not sure what I'm going to do. Next Friday, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe New York City versus San Jose in MLS and Champions League final Saturday in a week or so. So I got coming up, people. Thanks again, Prime, for hopping on, bro. Good chatting with you. Much love.
I didn't know how bad, like me going through this and actually watching the highlights and stuff. There's certain moments about how bad we've been that I forgot.
That's and it's the opposite for me. There are moments where I kind of forgot. That's why it's helpful to do these things. Because you look at everything. We looked at our expectations. We looked at our expectations going into the season with the squad we had and what we did. And then we looked at all the results, went in depth on a lot of them, and we formed an opinion based off of that. Like I would keep Eddie based off of looking all that in the sample.
You're a fucking criminal, man. I hate this man. You're a criminal.
But yeah, but big up everybody for joining. It was great chatting with y'all. Keyshawn, C-Neck, Warrior J, Mario Malatelli. Yeah, of course you can do Copa America predictions with me, 100%. Are you at Barrio? Are you on like social media or anything? Let me know, because I'll give my Stratford Steve kids.
You know what you should do? You should do a prediction like kind of like a Q&A before the Euro start, where people just call in and they give their predictions for the Euros or for Copa.
But yeah, Mario, if you want to follow me on there and just send me a DM, be like, yo, it's Mario. But yeah, I'd love to do a Copa America with you. Colombia. I kind of fuck with Colombia, so they'll be my second team once Greg Wife Kicker gets kicked out with the US after another shit coaching job. But anyways, people, I'm done talking about Greg Wife Kicker. Anyways, take care, people. Have a good one. Again, thanks to Prime for joining me. Peace the fuck out.
Pochin.